All right. Good morning, SG. I guess SG in total, but SG3 here with us.
SG3.
We are the first race of the final day of Speedgaming Live 2023. We are here for a Super Metroid Randomizer match, bronze match between ProfessorSchool and Bressingham. My name is Kip, and I am joined by my good buddy Kupo. Kupo, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good, Kip. How are you?
I'm great.
You ready to travel today?
I liked it so much I'm considering staying an additional day.
Is that like an optional thing, or is that going to be like a hard requirement required by like the SGLIVE seed?
I don't want to get into the corporate sponsorship, so I'll decline comment. But anyway, we're really happy to be here this morning to have a stream for our bronze match. Bressingham came in as our 7 seed. Both of these players lost their semifinals match. I think Bress played Audra, and then ProfessorSchool played Zep. Both of those matches were actually really good matches. So we're really excited to showcase Bress versus Prof this morning. We are playing the Dash Randomizer, and we have a lot of new settings that we've just released over the last few months. The preset for this particular tournament is full countdown, full area, bosses shifted, plus double jump. We'll talk a little bit about that if they get started, and I think we're ready to go. All right.
Gates are down. Let's get this going.
Let's go. So we do have a best of 3, so we got a few hours here of some nice Super Metroid action. As we mentioned about the settings, tell us a little bit, Kupo. We got the full countdown, but we have like a different HUD that we've added recently up in the top right corner. Tell the audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So you might notice the absence of the mini-map, which if you want to complain about that, this guy's handle is Kip. Feel free to DM at any point in time.
I take all complaints, yes.
Yeah. In place of that mini-map, however, we do have CA pointing out not California, but the area that we're in, and above that we have the count of majors, which 5 for criteria, quite high.
That's a big number.
We also have the E-tank count in the area, 4.
That's
also
another huge number.
Quite a lot, and below that we have the damage output from a charge beam, should they pick that up.
Correct.
So what this does is this adds for a lot of really interesting routing decisions, being able to see, for those who haven't seen. Well, there's, technically a major.
Listen, off to a blazing start in Seed 1.
I would say major item, minor impact. Let's go ahead and see if, let's see if we get Spazer, Grapple. What's next?
I was going to say X-Ray is actually a good item if you have a bunch of other items that you need to make it useful.
That's not what you want to see there.
Yeah, probably not.
Morph Ball you do want to see, though. So we're feeling pretty good about that.
And by the way, we got, and double jump. You know, little known fact, now that we're at the end of the tournament, we can tell everybody there's been a lot of seeds with double jump near the beginning. We secretly put it in the code for it to show up early so we could feature it in all the streams. We didn't really do that, ladies and gentlemen. We're just kidding. But for whatever reason, it's shown up a lot in this. Double jump is, well, let's put it this way. It does what it sounds like it does. It allows 2 jumps, although I will clarify it does allow 2 spin jumps like space jump. So you do get an additional one. It does help out in a lot of rooms, and that's an additional item. We do not have it on the tracker, but if you look at the top right HUD, once you pick up double jump or any of the other new items we've put in, which we're not using any other ones for this particular tournament, but up at the top right you can see that kind of cyclone looking picture. That's pink. That indicates to the player that they do have double jump. Not only collected, but if they were to get space jump later to override it, you would still see the icon. It would just be grayed out.
That's correct. Just to say that you have obtained double jump, but you're not going to go ahead and be using it, as space jump will go ahead and supersede. One thing to note, though, in the early part of the game, we did pick up missiles. We did pick up double jump, but we did not pick up power bombs, so we did have to orphan the side hoppers or meme route, meaning that's always going to be weighing on these runners' minds until they find that connection, that this could be progression down there, or potentially wondering what that could be.
It did, and not only, that's a good point, Kupo, not only does it not, or not only do the players not have the information for what the portal is, but actually the item is important there too. It literally cost me my consolation race yesterday. Later, if you find the portal and you come in on the side with the hoppers, you can choose to go pick up that one item that's there. And since this is full countdown, it could be a major. In my instance, it was Speed Booster, and I didn't pick it up. But basically, like, it's also a little risky because you got to use a couple power bombs or I think one to get it, and then you're dealing with the damage of the hoppers. So not being able to do it at the beginning is kind of not what you prefer.
Prof wishing he could cancel X-ray there.
Speaking of which, I do want to point out before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, not only are our players here playing for some cash prizes and eternal glory, but also we have some official hardware for the third place winner. All right, first and second. I got a trophy last night. We got a third place trophy here. Really want to thank the people from SGLIVE for putting this together and making the trophies for us. It's very cool. I have a few of these at home from past years. I look at them every night before I go to sleep to remind myself that I actually am someone. But anyway, no, we're really appreciative. These trophies are very cool.
I'm glad something brings you validation.
Hey man, you know this is it. This is all I got. All right, so heading to Terminator, there are 2 portals over here on the left side. Basically, I don't know if everyone refers to it this way. I kind of think about the zones like just in terms of direction, like left to right. So 2 on the left, 2 on the right in criteria, and then there's that one on the bottom, which is a little scary to leave it behind because it can get isolated. And occasionally you'll run into a seed where it's like a force thing.
We are going to see a quick difference here. Prof going ahead and scouting these items in the back of Gauntlet. With 5 power bombs, they're not accessible yet, but having the knowledge that there are the other 2 E-tanks up there does give you the knowledge that all the other checks and criteria are more likely to then have one of those majors and give them like a little bit more leverage.
For sure. And not suggesting it will definitely be the case in this seed, but I have seen seeds before where the early E-tanks and criteria ended up being logically required. So, you know, having that knowledge, could it be beneficial at some point down the line? We'll see.
And due to the portals of Red Bryn being down here, I don't think Bress is going to go back and scout that till much later. Or maybe might not scout that and just sort of count on it.
Another small thing that I don't really know it has been mentioned much, but scouting those Gauntlet, the back of Gauntlet, actually has a secondary benefit in some specific instances. Ooh, early croc with 1-1. Those hoppers will drop power bombs like 99% of the time. So you have to drop a power bomb or use a power bomb to get up there, but you should get 2 back. And then sometimes, depending on what the next portal is, you might actually need like the additional power bomb. So it's rare, but it can happen.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, it is, you're right, a very convenient little refill, aside from giving it like some credit to the check. You think I can do early X-ray here on 1 tank?
Well, you can.
With 0, that's not a good thing. This isn't major minor.
Not in logic, also not something I would recommend. This is a unique situation, though, because they have not found a super missile, and they're not going to soft lock themselves by going up here. They have a power bomb to get back out of the top of Red Tower, but they can't check any of the 3 items that are up here.
And usually checking these miners with this high density is usually early game quite a good move.
I agree.
Even with 0 majors. But like you just mentioned, these are completely inaccessible, so we're just going to have to go through, get some portal knowledge, and see if we can find somewhere else where we could get some supers.
Oh, wow.
And that would be pretty funny if it was great, because with 0 majors, you could argue it's not a great play to go here and scope and then check the boss.
Yeah, I would probably still do it, especially this early given this circumstance. Number one, you could get, you know, like a progression here. Secondly, you know, you don't have to have a super missile to like kill Kraid. Obviously, you can't do the quick kill, but it might be that the logic expects you to kill Kraid here with just regular missiles.
Right, and you could only kill potentially 2 out of the 4 bosses. Although a 2-tank, 10-missile Fantoon isn't what I would like to do on my Sunday morning.
Yeah, it can definitely be a little bit tricky, but I guess we'll see here in a minute what we get. I'm actually kind of interested to see what this turns into. I guess this is a good time to mention, for those of you that haven't seen any of our other races, We are using a new mode called Bosses Shifted. So basically the bosses can be anywhere, but instead of them opening up their vanilla location, they open up the location where you defeat them. So for example, if Fantoon were here at Kraid's lair and you beat Fantoon, that would then open up the Kraid's E-Tank room or whatever, a couple rooms away. In other modes with bosses shuffled, it doesn't work that way. I like both modes. I think they both have value. It just kind of depends on how you want to play.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be one or the other, and boom, we've got Vanilla Kraid. So this might be a time save. Prof is looking on the face cam a little tilted based on the fact that he doesn't have those supers yet, so he does have to temporarily orphan the Kraid entrance.
Man, this is a pretty unique situation. You don't often in Super Metroid Randomizer get potentially forced into a Kraid fight where you don't have super missiles. And every speedrunner will tell you, if you miss the quick kill, like if you're equipped to do the quick kill and you don't get it, this fight is actually kind of hard.
Did you see that Prof went down, checked the Croc escape item, and it was Screw, the only major?
I did not.
Yeah. So knowing that Business Center is all going to be miners, which did end up paying off with that super there,
right,
means you can potentially end up saving a lot of time. That said, with 2E, I personally probably wouldn't check the rest of this then. For
Another
like
missile.
checking ice.
The other thing, I'm sorry, was the Upper North Fair section the top of Red Tower portal? Is that how we got there?
I was there or Meridia Escape, I can't remember.
So Bress, in theory, could lose a little time from not being able to do the quick kill, but the reverse situation is that he might not be forced to ride the elevator twice, but he might. It just depends on what they find here.
The other thing is Prof might, in the middle of Red Tower, might not get back to that for quite a while, and also be wondering, it's like where Kraid could be, right?
That's true. Kraid's lair is not one that you would want to accidentally skip over, but I have a feeling that Prof is going to go back and find it. Hopefully Bress will get a super here and feel better about life. All right, there we go.
Yeah, 10 minutes in to get your first super is a little uncommon for some of these seeds, but we have seen it happen.
Yeah.
All right, and I do like seeing another portal leading back to Criteria. Lets you clean up this Key Hunter or pre-mote room as well. And then knowing you still have 2 majors there, which could be progression in some way.
Right.
Just feels good. When you're orphaning large areas of the game early on, and you're not finding the things you need to, like super missiles or a way to go, a non-crystal flash way to get Batoon access, it starts to feel bad, man.
Yeah, I also like seeing moat when the players have double jump because, I'm saying this as somebody who's done hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of any percent new route and also low ice runs where you do Fantoon first. So dealing with the moat is something I've done a lot in speed runs. But I'd still prefer for it not to be forced too often in a rando situation, so that double jump is an additional item that gives some leeway to get over, which I think is better. You don't want to be having to force CWJ in a high number of seeds.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
For those who can't hear Prof, he's actually speaking out loud, not just lip reading, and it is... You're never getting this over the internet. This is only a live event could produce something like this.
Right.
And I'm here for it, and I love it.
Yeah. As someone who sometimes also talks out loud to myself when I'm trying to solve the area problems, I can identify with Prof, but it is kind of fun to watch them physically struggle with it in person, right?
I really hope random hotel guests just start walking through and wondering what is going on. With no context for what we're talking about super missiles and, which walls can be opened.
Hey, listen, we're in an age of positive self-talk, okay? All he's saying the whole time, he's not actually thinking, he's saying, Prof, you're faster than the other guy. You can do this. You're going to win.
Let me go ahead and take this. Yeah, no, it's the exact opposite.
Okay, in all seriousness, though, one thing I will say is we have had a really fun time together here at SG Live. This is the third in-person SG Live. I have been fortunate to attend all 3. 2019 was the first one. Obviously, there was a break there for the pandemic. And then 2022, 2023. Each year, we've had more and more Super Metroid players and community members show up. We've had a really big, fun tournament. We've had a great time together, spent a lot of time together. We are hoping to have even more people next year. So for anybody out there who's watching who's considered coming to SG Live but never come to it before, would you guys recommend coming?
Heck yeah.
All right. So we
That
would
was a
love to see more
resounding
people.
yes if the mics didn't pick
Right.
that up. Oh, and we've got a rare DLC stand-up glitch.
Rare DLC that we saw just a couple minutes ago.
Well, he didn't have supers.
Right, that's true.
It's not really,
Oh,
yeah.
that is actually rare, getting a super drop from one of the claws. It doesn't happen super frequently.
Would anyone care to mention what Prophet just said?
Simple chastisement of himself.
Positive
I don't
self-talk.
understand how I messed that up.
He said, "Look at me, I beat this giant lizard. I'm awesome." All right, so Bressingham now, getting a refill and a save. I really like an area, anytime you get to kind of double back into criteria and kind of come across the ship, I like to use it because not only do you get some ammo back, which is, quite useful, but secondly, sometimes save scumming in certain specific positions is very helpful. In fact, a lot of our, like, when I think of save scumming, one of the first people I think of is Adraxis, who actually won our tournament last night and has won multiple tournaments. They're really, really good at understanding like when to use that as a valuable tool. So it's always nice to have a save. I don't like to go too long an area without some kind of backup.
We need a little pause. We need a moment of silence for Spazer. But one thing that we did note, Brass has not scoped the back of Gauntlet yet. So he does not know that those two items are E-tanks. He's now going to head and gamble potentially on this transition and the item behind that, or Billy Mays, for finding out what this other item could be.
Oh, now we got ProfessorSchool grabbing these red tower miners here. Probably hoping to get a power bomb or a super missile. There's a super.
So, what's the best case scenario you think for Bress finding this item, or finding this portal?
Green Bryn.
Bryn?
Yeah, definitely Green Bryn.
Now, would you prefer the front, or would you prefer the back?
I wouldn't care.
That is...
Reset.
Yeah, that's a save scum right there.
Reset.
Man, that is the power of Spazer right there.
Maybe Bress is actually deciding that he wants to go check Billy Mays.
So this, this could be a pretty important inflection point to a degree for checking all of these items
Here we
right
go.
here.
So in this particular case, I think you already have that one. I think what you are hoping for here is, number one, he doesn't know that the two energy tanks are a gauntlet, but he's hoping to probably get at least one of them. But he would also like to see the major and have it be like Ice Beam, Speed Booster, something that's, like a really important, potentially required item.
One thing to note for those watching at home who this might be one of their early races that they've seen is that suits cannot be in criteria.
Correct. Yeah, it'd be a little imbalanced if they could. Oh, ho, ho.
Yeah, so as we were mentioning, this is not a common location to go check, especially once you've essentially orphaned that side hopper check. And it's the back of East Meridia, which you're also likely not going to be going through unless you're really desperate scouting for something.
Right.
So that is a very, very great pickup for Bress there.
It's nice. It is let's put it this way. This was pretty costly in terms of time. Knowing that one portal, if you think about the time it took to get down here, ride the elevator twice, check the portal, grab the items, like it's a whole lot of time. But you do get some good information on the back of that portal, which you could avoid later depending on the layout. And secondly, having that Ice Beam, it could end up being a required item that'll save you from losing time on some trickier stuff. So I think Bress won here, even though it was a bit costly.
It was definitely cost me. It was definitely a risk, but this risk is definitely going to likely pay off.
Yeah, I would like to have Ice Beam personally. So
I also just think the knowledge of that back of East Meridia portal is quite, because if you're finding the front of East Meridia and you're going to the back of East Meridia, that's usually that's not like an optimal situation to be in.
Right, and I think we already know the front of East Meridia, so it's good that later down the line, like, basically he will know exactly how to maximize his efficiency for that zone.
I think Prof is going to have some very interesting dialogue with himself if he does not find the back of East Meridia through side hoppers and does it the other way.
If you think about it, yeah, like in all seriousness, if you don't know the back of East Meridia and you get there kind of late and you decide that like
that
you
might
need
be
to, you need
Turian,
to check it, and then you go there and it's the hoppers, that is like a nightmare situation because you basically did something that was really slow into something that's really slow.
Well, here's something slow, but also potentially another big payoff. We've got ProfessorSchool going for Croc.
Hey, here we go.
And also, as much as we are talking about these like big risks and investment and should you be doing this, let's just take a moment to remind everyone that this is a bronze match. Both of these players are extremely accomplished.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Bress has been putting on an incredible show, and ProfessorSchool, from what he was saying, just started playing Rando last year.
At SGLIVE, yeah. In fact, I was just about to mention that, you know, he and I and also Zeb and a few others spent some time together kind of walking him through how it worked. And then the last year, this is not his first successful tournament.
Oh,
that's a big one. He also, his team made the finals of the
Trigger
Randomizer
warning,
League.
MST Hyde. I will say, yeah, again, both of these incredible runners, and it's, yeah, this is, between both of those big items being found, this is going to be interesting. I don't think Bress is going to go back for Croc unless it's at desperation levels.
So
for trying to find something.
If we want to get like really, really into the meta, I would be upset to find Charge at Croc there. I would feel differently about it if they run into Plasma or something later, but considering that this is full and that you're going to be running into and checking a lot of things anyway, let's just put it this way. It's not super difficult usually to get ammo go mode, but knowing that you have it up front is nice, but at the flip side is you're still going to be collecting a lot of ammo until you get to like that mid-range that's helpful for Ridley, etc. So we'll see if that charge beam actually ends up being a huge factor. It could be.
You're talking about charge beam essentially being it's great as an anti-soft lock measure early on without any beams to complement it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, let me put it to you this way. I'm never like, I do not think that charge is a bad item, but in that spot, how much time you invested to do Croc to get that, especially in a seed where you don't know yet if you have stronger beams, it could turn out to be that's sort of like a neutral result.
I also have to imagine both of these runners not really feeling amazing at the moment.
Probably
finding
not,
super
no.
missiles quite late. Prof gambling. And then also, I mean, Bress gambling as well, although I'm sure the Ice Beam does feel like a good pickup.
Ooh, another super missile for Bress.
We're approaching Ridley ammo for Bress pretty quickly.
And we got Prof doing the same play.
All right.
All right. Another good use of double jump, and I like this save by Bress, but it's going to allow Bress to very easily get up to that top left corner. My assumption is the save is so that he can go to the top left corner and basically check those items, and even if he dies at the end of it, it doesn't matter. Oh, it looks like he's not going to do that. But you could check all the items in the top left up there without dying, and if you didn't run into anything useful, you could just go back to your save.
Yeah. I think Bress is going to go ahead, check what's at Croc Portal, and then use double jump to get across, maybe do a little business center.
Yeah, let's check it out and see.
I think East Meridia had 0 or 2. Yeah, 0. Kev, behind. Great commentator. Which way are you, Kev? There we go. Pointing out that Upper Norfair, usually one of the most item-dense areas in the game, and usually a great source of majors, throwing through just 1 in this. And here we go. Bress is going down Red Fish.
Yeah, here we go.
And so far, no.
Bress still has his save in Bubble Mountain.
Yeah, Bress has to save in Bubble Mountain, and he does know that, is it Crab Shaft? He knows one of the West Meridia portals already outside of Redfish.
Just a missile. He's going to grab it because he's here.
One thing you had mentioned earlier, Kip, is about trying to, or the Super Metroid community getting bigger every year and every year. And one thing I wanted to point out is if you want to go ahead and start playing some of these seeds or get involved, you can visit our website, dashrando.net, and you can go ahead and get all the information you need about all of these settings and go ahead and run some of the seeds for yourself.
Yeah,
We also do an async race every week on our Discord, also linked from dashrando.net, and feel free to come in and ask any questions. And just try to start playing. 6 Green Bryn.
Yeah, finding Green Bryn to begin with is awesome, and then for it to be 6 majors is huge. But yeah, to Kupo's point, you know, we've been doing an overhaul of our website and also like just some of the things that we have going on with those Dash weekly async races. We eventually are gonna design like a leaderboard to kind of track like, you know, people's performances for fun, etc. And then we've got like a whole bunch of new settings on our website for the randomizer. So not only can you play this preset, but you can play major, minor. You can turn area off. You can add extra items. We've created a few items that we've added into the game, like the double jump. You don't have to use them, but if you find them to be compelling, you can turn them on. So yeah, check out dashrando.net.
All right. Prof is iced up and hopefully on his way to Green Bryn as well. And let's see. Surely we're going to find a suit here.
Ooh. So notice on Bress's side, that top right, the double jump icon is going to turn from pink to gray.
There we go.
Boom. So it indicates that you still have picked it up, but it is not currently active.
So, Kip, there's been some discussion about the meta, potentially outside of these races in the commentary as well, about how you handle doing Green Bryn Star coming from something like the Exit or Green Hill Zone, where you potentially skip the right side of Green Bryn, or anything that's essentially out of the way. You go ahead and you handle left side of Green Bryn Star, where the items are more dense. You're more likely to come back, and then you do the cleanup if you don't find what you're looking for.
Okay.
In this scenario, given that there's 6 and 2, how do you feel about that for this seed?
Well, you know, I think a lot of decisions are runner dependent. Personally, I don't think I would want to play it that way. That doesn't necessarily mean it's incorrect to do it that way. I just prefer to get as much information as I can since you're only like one room away from that portal. And having that information lets you know kind of what to do later, because if you end up with a portal on the left side, which is a little further away and you have to ride an elevator that you end up wanting to take and continue, you're not coming back, right? So I like having the information, but I know I could see the other decision as a defensible play depending on your situation.
I think there's not a lot of portals worth going back to from the Exit at this point. And based on that, I mean, that's really for me what it comes down to is, do I think I want to continue or do I think I want to go back along with like that item count number? That said, I've been knocked out very early, so it might not be the best advice.
Well, I was going to say, if that's the metric, then I don't think I can give my opinion either because I got knocked out early too.
All right, someone want to take over for us then? Or?
So, but yeah, no, I can see it both ways. It kind of just depends on what the portal is. Like, especially early to mid-game, I am trying, look at those high jump boots, I'm trying to avoid a really catastrophic situation where I miss a portal and it's Torian or something, and then later I get punished trying to check the front of Lower Norfair or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think also with no suits at this point, having been through a lot of other items and seeing not a lot of density, trying to pick up all these items is looking like we're going to see some heavy progression in here. So you don't really want to go ahead and skip the front side of those items, miss the progression, and then have to double back. Knowing you're probably, given the portal situation, you're probably going to want to follow through with whatever is at the top. Unless we get Torian, or another one-way.
Well,
I know, we've seen all the one-ways now, except for Torian.
ProfessorSchool, very healthy for 27 minutes in. I think he's only got one reserve. Everybody has a different threshold, but 6'2" is usually kind of my threshold for considering doing Lower Norfair suitless. But that's still a ways away. We've got 4 more major items in Green Bryn, and it's very possible that one or both suits could be here.
All right, so let's see what's in I forget what the name of this item is, the one at the bottom of Edakun's that you have to mock ball out of. But yeah, I do think that the top, this early supers room, is it's gonna be pretty packed.
Let's find out. I'm gonna predict a major here. I'm gonna go with grapple. Oh,
Wave. Still good. I mean, this is only going to help strengthen that charge beam that Prof has when he comes through here.
100%. In fact, Bress has new route beam. He just doesn't have charge. So if Prof were to pick that item up, he would have new route combination, which is pretty nice, actually.
All right. Let's see what we got. We got 3 left outstanding.
And one could still be a waterway.
That is true. We don't have speed yet.
There's the various suit.
I'm calling it gravity in the back. What do you think?
It would be crazy if gravity was right here.
That's dev power right there.
Wow. So, man, that was good. You know, the real thing though is I think what it shows though is that the middle item in a 3-item set is always the most powerful, and it was a super missile. I stand by that. Super missiles are still the most powerful thing in this game. So Prof.
Oh my gosh.
And the plasma. Thank you, Mass. This is probably the most stacked individual sequence. Like, even though it's 2 rooms, it's kind of like one room. That's the most stacked I've ever seen, Kupo. How would you feel if you found plasma, gravity, and Viri all together?
I'd be feeling pretty high on life, but I imagine, like we were talking about that, like orphaning parts of the left item checks in favor, or the right item checks instead of just going straight for the left. I know, like, this is something Zeb does quite a bit.
Right.
If you found all of that on the left side, even orphaning high jump boots like that, you're feeling pretty good because you've already got space jump on the way as well.
That's right. And I think you might have already pointed it out, but this is an unfortunate situation for Prof because Prof is choosing to, I'm not going to say gamble, but he's making the decision to check all the stuff in Upper Norfair before he abandons it, hoping that maybe he finds a suit here or something like that. We know that won't be the case. So Bressingham probably won't even come back and clear any of this stuff. Bressingham is in go mode minus
ammo,
and he's going to run into plenty of ammo along the way. He's not going to need that charge beam. Whereas ProfessorSchool is not only going to clear stuff that Bress isn't, it's going to be, some of it was a little slow because of the hell run. But Prof is going to find his stuff shortly.
Yeah. One of the other things that is going to be interesting is we still don't know what that entrance to Lower Norfair ends up being.
That's true.
So, and trying to keep track of everything. We have seen wreck ship, back of wreck ship, but if that leads to front of red ship or wreck ship, that's some pretty good routing.
Well, here's the thing. Somebody in chat was saying, is it over? Bress is definitely in a commanding situation, not only in terms of his knowledge and items, but also the fact that this happens to be a seed where they already have a ton of energy. Doesn't mean that it's impossible for something bad to happen, but it certainly reduces the likelihood. You get a lot of leeway when you have a lot of energy like this. So he's in a pretty commanding position, but let's see how he manages it.
Yeah. I mean, it's rando. It could be rando.
That's right.
Anything can happen. That said, I do think, we did get to this point where Bress favored skipping, potentially picking up some items in favor of trying to get portal knowledge and finding a much more dense area.
I like that play. In fact, I might would have ended up doing what Prof did just because, again, everybody's play style is different. Sometimes I just try to do whatever's right in front of me before I, do a potentially advanced play. So, and Bress is the one that actually beat me in the round of 8. And after we chatted about some of the decisions, I, came away man, I really like how he played it. I can see how that was a better decision. I think his play to look for that portal information without knowing what Green Bren was yet was actually a really strong one. So, you can say, well, it's randomizer, but there's a lot of difference between making good or potentially sort of average plays, and I think that was a good play.
I do think that is one thing that will definitely separate an average player from an incredible player. I know, Zeb has talked a lot about the meta, and one of the things that makes him so good is how analytical he can be about these seeds, like understanding the not just understanding the logic, but the meta
100%.
about how to make these calculated risks.
That's right. And the better you are, the more risk you can take.
That's one of the things that makes the game great.
I agree. That's one thing, I've said this on comments before, it's one of my favorite things about Super Metroid. It is not actually super difficult to just get into. Like, you can casually play speedruns or randomizers, but the skill ceiling is very high. So it gives you a lot of depth for potential options. I love that.
Yeah, I think a lot of seeds are beatable, especially without being able to do a lot of some of the fancier tricks that you might see or some of the more difficult technical aspects of it. So everything is completable, but being able to complete it much faster once you have an understanding and you can perform on a pretty on demand a lot of these items or these tricks makes a big difference.
Correct. The difference between completion versus racing is pretty big, and that's what makes it fun.
One of the other things I do think we should mention is it's very different playing in your normal setup at home.
100%.
Versus playing here. We started this with no one else in the room. Now people are filing in. Other races are going in. This is not your normal setup. You can get the visual cues sometimes from your opponent. The tension is in the air.
That's right. There's a lot of potential distractions, etc., but I mean that in a good way. Like, it's fun because there's all kinds of stuff going on. I think we got like 4 different stream stations set up in here. Playing live is a unique experience, and even more reason to come to SG Live.
Not only is it different, I love it. There's something you cannot get, and
agreed,
by having this at home. Nice save by Prof there. A sigh of relief and the immediate comedy following afterwards, just being told on his face.
Yeah,
but that's something we've all been there, almost accidentally falling down.
All right, Bress is going to make his way out. I'm actually curious what his play is going to be up here. Is he going to save and check the front of Lower Norfair? I mean, is it Torian?
No, we don't know. It could be front of wrecked ship. That's what I was saying earlier, is that this could potentially be...
I have a hard time reading the track.
Well, it could either be the... and it could be...
We have pre-Aqueduct left, Torian, front of Lower Norfair, and front of wrecked ship.
Yeah. And since this was the top of Green Bryn, you are likely going to go through this, given that you'd known quite a few of the portals left behind as well.
It looks like he is going to be checking the portal. So here we go. If it's Torian, like, he doesn't know this. If it's Torian, he's going to feel bad. Probably. But then again, your opponent could do the same thing. But we know that he's still in perfectly fine situation. If it's not Torian, that's actually really good for him because he can then immediately either be in Western Meridia or in wrecked ship, so he can go ahead and kind of take care of that. So let's find out what it's going to be. Well,
with strat. Yeah. So, Bress going through, trying to still collect ammo. We're at 45-45, looking pretty healthy on that front. However, Prof does have that charge beam, and now with picking up that plasma, is at full beam damage.
And has the X-ray, which means that the fights against Dragon and Botwoon and Fantoon are all going to be significantly easier and faster.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to make enough of a difference for this to catch back up, though?
Well, as someone who has been in a pretty significant race where that was actually the difference in my favor, fortunately, in that case for me, it can actually make a difference. I don't believe it will in this situation. I think Bress has enough of a lead, but we'll find out.
Yeah. And I did hear mention in chat of being in go mode, and that aside, while Prof is definitely in full go mode, I would say Bress is also minus ammo, which, again, we're not too far off, and you are likely to run into. Bress is also mentally thinking he is in go mode, and we did see Torian there. at the top. So this is going to be a bit of a backtrack to go get to Turian. But now it's need to go to Wreck Ship and then need to go to East Meridia to take out those bosses and then loop back.
And then we're literally getting a high five right here. Like, they are literally
What up, Bress?
right
What
next
up,
to
Prof?
each other. Yeah. So the kind of heady play that Prof could make here is he could choose not to check the front of Lower Norfair and just like assume that it's Torian and like come back to it later and save some time. But even if I'm not sure if he's going to make that decision, I kind of doubt it. But even if he did, I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Bress is like
Bress is
still
a couple minutes ahead at least.
Yeah, and Bress doesn't really have to go overly out of his way for ammo unless he just, for whatever reason runs into tons and tons of missiles or power bombs. So I guess we'll kind of keep track and see how that goes.
What do you think it would take for something to have happen to Bress, for Prof to go ahead and get back in this and make this like really, really close? But what would Prof need to do in order for this to happen?
So there's not really like a significant skill differential.
Both of these runners have incredible movement.
Both of these players are really, really strong. So, I don't think you can necessarily bank on that.
Yeah.
Thinking that you're just going to make up, minutes of time on your opponent. But I think the most likely scenario would be if Prof made the aggressive play not to check the front of Lower Norfair, which you might even could argue that that's the correct play out. I guess it depends. But if he didn't do that and save that time, and then for some reason if Bress just went on this long spree of not finding any more supers and just had to collect tons and tons of missiles, then maybe that could get him back in. And especially since Bress still needs to kill Batwoon and Fantoon, ProfessorSchool should have faster fights. So that's the most likely path.
Yeah. Yeah, finding or determining Turian by process of elimination would definitely help Prof here. That said, Prof does know some of the portals missing are likely going to lead him back either to West Meridia or into Wreck Ship, which are two boss areas he desperately wants to get to now, given his loadout. So it's not... I would imagine Prof is checking this.
Well, the interesting thing is we just saw a small example of what I was referring to. Bress, it didn't take too long, but it does add up. He checked one location to try to get a missile or a super, and he got an energy tank instead. So that was essentially just dead time. Prof is not going to need to check anything else. But it looks like Prof is going to save here. I believe he is most likely to check the front of Lower Norfair.
He is, yeah.
So that cuts into some of that possibility.
And I believe we got a snail climb coming up.
Yeah, and Bress does a way that I think I'd only seen maybe one time or maybe had never seen before. This is a really cool way to do it a little bit faster. And look, that again, power bomb into energy tank is not what he wants to see.
As Metroid MST just pointed out in chat, the ammo hunt is real.
It is indeed. All right, there's a super.
What we got up here? Double supers?
Ooh. Nice to find a super. Reserve tank, not great.
I think I could make the game, actually. Okay, Prof about to check and find, unfortunately, Turian, and then we will go ahead and see him take that immediate reset and then double back. So another point in chat is that you can usually figure out the front of Lower Norfair by process of elimination, which is definitely true. But again, imagine instead of this being Turian, this had been front of wreck ship.
Oh, yeah, then it would have been by far the best play.
Yeah, I mean, this goes from an immediate reset of frustration to almost god-tier routing of being able to go through from there, get back to Criteria, and then have an easy way back to East Meridia.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Bress, did he double super here?
Yeah, I think I was double super.
He's in much better shape at 60 supers. Now, personally, for me, I think I like to get enough to where I don't have to do any major refills or anything, so I usually shoot for 60, 55. But then if you have 60 supers, then you can trim that down to 45, 60. So I would try to find like 1 or 2 more missile packs that I can just kind of straight run into just in case. Or if there was 1 more super, you'd be in good shape. You can do it with less, but I'm not a big fan of like pushing it to the absolute limit.
Yeah, at least for me personally, I prefer to have a comfortable leeway, and I don't do the maths. So I usually have to have some sort of tool next to me that will go ahead and calculate the damage output.
And we are seeing how the ice beam is the logical way through Batuin's hallway here. Get a nice ice clip. I always like seeing that. Reminds me of my favorite category. And we got a Batuin fight with hopefully just 10 supers here.
Let's see. I believe Bress can one-round this.
Oh, he's not going to.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault. That is the worst of the 4 patterns and very difficult. You can one-round it, but it's let's just put it to you this way. It's a lot more complicated than the other ones.
Yeah. So with 0 majors in East Meridia, I am wondering where this speed booster was.
Good question. Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably behind Waterway.
Well, no, because Prof's in Green Bryn with
I'm
0.
kidding. I'm kidding. Speed Booster can't be behind Waterway because it takes Speed Booster to get to Waterway.
This is why you're a much better player than me.
No. Actually, in fairness, in Dash, you can turn on a setting that lets the Spazer Beam break.
That's not this setting,
it's
though.
Not this setting.
That's not this setting.
It's not this setting.
Let's not cross streams here.
But there is a setting for that, so technically that could happen. But no, not here. Yeah, so Professor School here. Going to check this top right portal. This is the only portal that we don't know, so I guess this is the front of Wreck Ship, yes?
Yeah, so Wreck Ship did have majors, I believe, so that's potentially where speed is. Yep.
So we don't know which boss is which yet, do we?
I don't believe we do. One thing to point out, though, is that even if Speed Booster is here at 45 minutes into the seed, I don't think that's going to be making much of a difference.
No, it won't be enough. In fact, like at this point, Prof shouldn't even really be checking anything, so.
Yeah. All right, we've got Ridley at East Meridia, which means we're going to have Vanilla Fantoon, I believe.
All right, so we had a Vanilla Kraid and a Vanilla Fantoon. Ridley and Dragon were swapped. If Professor School does everything correctly here, it should be a fairly quick, easy fight. He should one round this. You just need to get 1 regular missile into Fantoon and then use a charge shot to microwave. Here we go.
And I will.
You can still get it. There we go.
I will say, while microwaving the other bosses is typically very straightforward, there is that extra bit of setup to do it for Fantoon, which can make it a little bit more complicated.
Agreed.
That said, not an issue for Prof, even with the minor mishap there. All good. And as Fantoon is going down, we see Ridley going down for Bress as well. And Bress, not checking that, he is going straight.
He's ready to roll. So Bress only has Wreck Ship left to do, and he should have the knowledge, I believe at this point, that pre-Aqueduct Portal is the front of Wreck Ship. Yeah. Technically, he can also do the Criteria.
That's a long way to go to get to the bad entrance of East Meridia.
It is. So my assumption would be that he's gonna head back to Aqueduct here, and then he's gonna try to find his way into West Meridia.
And when we do say it's like the bad entrance, for a couple of locations that only have 2 entrances, for example, Wreck Ship, East Meridia, there is, not universally, but I would go ahead and say categorically, there is the good entrance and then the bad entrance.
It's not a bad entrance. It just has you know.
It's longer. There's more challenge involved in doing it.
It has a lower GPA than its brother, its older brother. And, you know, parents are always pushing it to do better.
Yeah.
All right, we got Bress over here making an entry into criteria. I wonder if he's going to be okay,
Yeah.
He's going to lava dive here, or whatever you want to call it. People call it different stuff.
I personally call it chronic boost.
Yeah. I call it lava dive. I actually don't call the actual lava dive room lava dive, because when I think of lava dive, I think about starting it in that room and like having to do the strat, like high jump bootless and stuff. But everybody's got a different thing. In fact, we got a tracker that our buddy Mass created, and it allows you, it's an area tracker, and it allows you to put in whatever name you want for the portals. So
that's a very convenient feature.
Yeah.
Speaking of trackers, we do have Gesture Zooks on tracking right here.
That's right.
Who's been doing an incredible job for not just this race, but I would say a very, very significant portion of all the dash races.
Yeah, easily the majority of the races, and other races for other communities too. So SGLIVE is a wonderful place to see all the different people that contribute. You know, the randomizer devs, the competitors, the comms, the tracking, the people who actually do the restreams. Everybody here is playing a part in the product.
All right, both of them heading towards their final respective bosses. This should be an extremely trivial Botswoon.
Where's the entry to Lower Norfair again? Excuse me, it's Green Bryn.
Yeah, top of Green Bryn, which is going to be a bit of a backtrack.
I still think Bress is ahead, but I got to tell you, this
is closing up.
This got a little closer than I anticipated.
So let's think about routing then from their respective last bosses to where they would need to go in Turian, or how to get to Turian. So how do you get to Green Bryn?
I have a really hard time reading the spaghetti tracker, but it looks to me like my assumption is going to be Bress is going to go back out the front of Wreck Ship to end up at Pre-Aqueduct. At that point, he is going to take the Redfish portal. Excuse me, he's probably going to take Main Street to to Green Hills, and then Lower Norfair. So actually, he's pretty close. Prof is probably taking the front of East Meridia to Upper Norfair, and then probably the same thing. Probably going to go from Single Chamber over to Croc. Bress is definitely geographically closer. So still in the lead here, and does have, relatively comfy ammo.
I think the big difference between them, aside from that geographic, is, again, Prof has charge with full beam damage, and Bress is going to have to go ahead and manage that. And there we go, Ridley down. Prof not looking happy, wish Ridley had given him a little bit more.
Oh, personally, I like this check from Bress because it's just a couple of seconds just to see if you can get a small amount of leeway. It's very unlikely for a few seconds to be the difference.
And that super is a big payoff for that little bit of a gamble.
Even the regular missile would, in my opinion, would have been fine, but the super is like even better. So yeah, Bress should have a nice little security blanket in Torian.
Well, I got to say, it's definitely not over, but with Bress in the lead, this has been an extremely exciting race, and I can't wait to see what round 2 is going to look like for this as well.
It really looked for a little bit there when Bress discovered, for those of you that came in late, Plasma, Varia, and Gravity were all
in the same room.
In the location of the early supers in Green Brinstar. And Bress got there a good bit earlier. Prof checked some stuff, doing a few hell runs in Upper Norfair. Not extensive, but a little bit. And it kind of looked at the beginning like Bress was going to run away with it. But the fact that ProfessorSchool has Charge Beam, Plasma, and X-Ray did save some time on some of those bosses. And so this ended up, here at the end, being a little bit closer than I anticipated at the beginning. So great race, and also great showcase of skill. Sometimes even when players lose, they're showcasing a lot of really cool things that are happening. So both players have played well here, and we'll see how it goes in Torian. Bress has also been on a tear lately. Bress, his team did really well in League Season 4, which was somewhat recently. I think they made it all the way to the semifinals. Bress had a good showing in the online SGLIVE tournament a few months ago, and then here he's made it all the way to the bronze match. And again, Bressingham played Adraxis in the semis, which Adraxis ended up winning the entire tournament. I think very obviously, clearly considered to be like one of the most elite players in Super Metroid Randomizer. But Bress played really well in that match.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
if you haven't had
he's been doing great.
Yeah, for those out there who haven't had a chance to watch any of the restreams, they're all absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah, we had some great races.
Yeah, this has been, you couldn't have asked for a better tournament. Lots of great moments of leads going back and forth, incredible showcases of talent. This has been, you couldn't ask for a better tournament.
100%. In fact, it's really fun because we're sitting here right now watching this, but there's also other streams heating up. I think we got maybe a Link to the Past randomizer, and also I want to say Wind Waker might be happening over here. Oh, okay, never mind. Ocarina of Time's over here, and then we got Wind Waker. So, well, whatever. It's not very inclusive of you to make fun of my accent. But anyway, yeah. So we got a lot of cool things happening here at SGLIVE.
We'll just go ahead, once Bress, obviously cleaning up, getting ready to exit Lower Norfolk here, let's go ahead and take note of the time that he enters into Turian.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to go ahead, once Prof enters into Turian, be able to
crazy,
see what
man.
the difference
is. This is close.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a difference here.
I like that super missile strat by Prof there. He knows that he's going to get the refill, and he's just supering all the boulders and the... I don't know if it's Nama Haze. I forget whatever the name is. There's Nama Haze and then the Fune, I think. Can't remember which ones those are, but that was pretty cool.
All right, 55-52 for Bress entering.
All right.
Let's go ahead and see. Prof, hot on his heels, just going to be about a minute or two behind, maybe a minute? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to say just over a minute. Yeah, that is a good point. In chat, we got Kev back here pointing out that Prof can do the stand-up glitch, and because he has full beam combo, he's going to save about 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, Kev the Goat out-calming all of us actually on comms.
That's right. Bress, my guy, you got Ice Beam. This is actually not a good decision here.
Yeah, this isn't normally what I would be doing. I didn't see if potentially there was a grab or something like that, and he just decided to go ahead and go back through with that.
Yeah. That makes more sense. I didn't see it happen either. That makes a lot more sense.
Especially without bombs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I think earlier I said about a little over a minute, and you're right around that.
Yeah. 57:03. So we've got a minute and just a bit. Is full charge or super going to make the difference? I forget. Damage outputs and that is definitely not in my realm of expertise by any means. But is full beam damage no, full beam damage is a little bit higher than a super, but the super kill is a little bit more DPS, right?
Are you talking about on Mother Brain?
On Mother Brain, too.
So let's put it to you this way. Most players are going to be able to do the regular like fight full beam with charge beam faster than just completely unloading. It depends on like how long you hold the charge, or like, you know,
Yeah.
it depends on what do you want to go by task or what people actually do. That's the
Okay.
real question. But either way, there's not a significant difference between the two. But the flip side is that Bress isn't going to get a full super fight.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be those missiles too. So Professor School's fight should be a little faster and should gain even more with the stand up. But it's not going to be enough. There we go. All right, so Bress has 56. Well, he's almost got it.
Yeah, it's a pretty high super count to be going into this.
He's missing
with
4.
Prof just missing baby skip right there.
Yeah. It's hard to get, well, in my opinion, I feel like it's more difficult to get baby skip if you don't have the normal loadout. So some people can do it with just high jump boots or even nothing at all. I find it to be more difficult.
There's a 1 missed super there, but should still be okay.
Yeah, Bress, with that last pack that he found being a super, that really upped his leeway or his margin for error, so I don't think he's too worried about that.
No.
And now we're in the final 25%, as you can see from the catch-up beginning. Actually, I should say the final
There's a
less than 25%. If you sit exactly at 25%, she will not actually catch up to you.
All right, we're good. Just going to damage down. So close to perfect health there.
Yeah, this ended up being closer than I anticipated. Prof did a good job of pulling back into this.
I mean, again, both of these being absolutely incredible runners, putting on amazing performances. Particularly for me, I think the Prof Ace Zero match is one of the best ones in the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
But this is also an incredibly even matchup, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go to a Game 3 on this.
Speaking of which, I do want to hype up some more of our community members because there are a lot of great players in our tournament that are great at Super Metroid Randomizer that are also really, really high-quality players in other areas too. Tonight, or maybe later today, we have the finals for SMZ3, and I'm really proud of the fact that we have 2 SMR people in that as well. We got Ace Zero versus Mega Man 2 back here, who have made the finals of that. So later on today, if you're looking for some more Super Metroid, you can check that out too.
Yeah. It's also been a pleasure to meet everyone else in the community, MM2 and H0, both great runners, great people as well.
100%. Yeah, Prof not going for stand-up here. A little surprised by that decision. Fortunately for him, it's not going to make a difference. It would kind of stink to find out afterwards that it did, but it is a bit of somewhere between maybe 15 to 20 seconds, depending on how you do it. Usually time saved with a full beam combo there.
All right, and as we're entering into, or close to number 3 at 1 hour and 2 seconds, Kip, how do you think both of these runners are feeling at this moment? We do know who is ahead, but for example, do you think Bress or Prof are feeling particularly good about their runs at this stage, both finding Green Brand a little bit later than they potentially hoped?
Maybe. As someone who lost 2 races in this tournament while I was in the escape, I feel like the escape is when you're the most nervous because you're like, okay, I've either got this or I'm about to be heartbroken. Right?
Well, I was actually next to you running one of my races, and
Yep,
as I
that's
was
right.
going through, you could feel the jitters going
That's
through my
right.
foot. I thought I was going to move your cartridge a little bit.
That's right.
But my point of this being, I think Prof visibly thinking it's like that he is behind, but I also don't think that Bress particularly feels that he's like got this in the bag or feels ahead by any means.
No.
Both of them did find Green Brand late where all of the progression was.
Correct. Plus, I mean, like, again, I'm confident that there are some players who could, while running and thinking about everything they did, proactively think about all the different permutations that their opponent could do. I'm not quite at that level. So, like, when I'm looking back on different things that could happen, like Bress could be thinking, okay, what if the person I'm playing against decided to do lower North air at the end and didn't have the reset? So, like, there's all kinds of things that could have potentially happened. But overall, I do think both players played really well here.
Yeah, and we're going to get a race that ends with both players in escape.
That's right.
And whenever you get a race with both players in escape, that's how you know that that was a close one.
That's right. Bress doing a little left side climb here.
Yeah, no speed booster means no shine spark up, unfortunately.
A little low ice action here, minus the space jump. And we got 2 rooms away from a 1-0 victory, or 1-0 lead for Bress in this bronze match at SGLIVE 2023.
Well, I can't speak for you, but I'm really excited to see this next game. This is going to be absolutely incredible.
And
get those GGs ready.
GG to Bress, taking a 1-0 lead over Prof. While Prof is in the escape, we'll let Prof finish up here. Yeah, look at that sigh of relief on Bress there.
Yeah, we're going to have to definitely note that, and once we get them in for interviews, I really want to see how each of them was feeling for that.
That's right. Bress over here going to take a short break, probably eat a Cherry Halls. The Cherry Halls fuels the speed.
Better question. Prof, is he going to save the animals on his way out?
I hope not.
I think he's going for it. If there was a Decora down there, we know he would have saved it for sure.
Actually, earlier I said it was low ice. It's not even close to that. They've got they got high jump boots too, in addition to space. So I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, he did not save the animals like a true SM speedrunner.
But let's get those GGs ready for Prof. Played his heart out. Incredible run.
Nice run, Prof. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to take a short break. So we will put down the microphone for just a minute, and when the runners are ready to go for Game 2, we'll be back from here in Herndon, Virginia, SGLIVE 2023. Kupo, you want to add anything before we take a quick break?
Let's get some coffee, let's get re-energized, and let's get ready for round 2.
All right, we'll see you in just a couple minutes, guys. All right. Go ahead, Kupo.
I was just going to say, welcome back. We just had an exciting Game 1 between ProfessorSchool and Bressingham, with Bress taking it 1-0, both runners in the escape. We're looking forward to a really exciting Game 2. I'm Kupo. I'm joined here by Kip. Kip, you ready to see some Super Metroid?
Oh, yeah, always, especially in person. As Kupo mentioned, Game 1 was a really fun one. The players both did a few things a little bit differently.
And we got the countdown coming up right now.
Yeah, and I got a little inside scoop for you. So I overheard and had like a little very brief chat with ProfessorSchool out in the break area.
Yeah.
And he said that he thought that he lost it because of checking Gauntlet. He shouldn't have checked Gauntlet at the end. He knew about the energy tanks, etc. So let's see if any adjustments are made for Game 2.
Okay. So for those of us just joining, this is the Dash Randomizer version of Super Metroid. We have some settings we'd like to go over. This is full area randomization, full item countdown, and bosses shifted. So along with that, we have some differences you might see in the info HUD in the top right. Instead of the mini-map, you're going to see some new changes to the info HUD. Kip, you want to tell us about those?
Yeah, very quickly. Full randomizer means items can be anywhere within logic. But we really like having the countdown because it lets you make some strategic decisions. So that top purple or blue number there is the number of majors. You'll see it go from 3 to 2 after they've picked up the morphing ball here.
And the fanfare's done.
And boom. And then the bottom number is the energy tank. So in criteria, which is the area we're currently in, since this is area randomizer, they're started out with 3 major items, 0 energy tanks. So as the players run through the game, they will not only be tracking portals, they will also be tracking the number of items. And so yeah, I like it. I really like countdown better than just regular full. I kind of find regular full to just be like all over the place. I don't think it works nearly as well in Super Metroid as it might in something like A Link to the Past. But having that countdown there really helps you, not just be full clearing everything all over the place. You actually get to make some strategic decisions.
Bress getting the backup on that D-boost, whereas ProfessorSchool got this on the first go. With power bombs, we're now going to go ahead and see what the meme route / slide hopper portals is going to get us. And usually, in the last game, we had to orphan this due to a lack of power bombs.
That's right.
At this, juncture. But now that we're going to be able to see it, we're going to get some important portal knowledge and potentially just follow it through if you do see something very high like a red Bryn Star or a green Bryn Star.
Particularly green Bryn Star, especially if you can end up getting like a super missile and a power bomb early. You can just go ahead and start clearing out. Green Bryn Star is really kind of like one of the best locations in Super Metroid because it's relatively safe and it's got a ton of items, whether major or minor, to help kind of get you geared up. So let's see what we got here. It is Red Tower.
With 0. Also, even with...
Tower.
Yeah. Even with 0, Red Tower is one of the largest connection areas in the rest of the game. So being able to find this is definitely advantageous.
You guys can see on the tracker, that they're using on the HUD that Red Bryn Star, as Kupo pointed out, does have the most connections. It's got 6. So even if it doesn't have a bunch of items in it, it is usually used to get around the map. And look at this. They avoided the climb.
This is something that I personally really like to see when I'm running as well. Going ahead and finding out where 2 big portals are. ProfessorSchool almost orphaning that green pirate shaft. And we're going to be Croc or Main Street with West Meridia too.
Main Street is always an interesting one because in theory you could make the aggressive play to go ahead and check the
crab hole.
The crab hole, but if you don't get something where you can get back out, you have to reset. And since they don't have any saves yet, I wouldn't personally prefer to do that.
Yeah, and now let's go ahead and see what we've got up here at the back, and it's 2 supers with no supers at the moment. That could end up being big, but Bress is going back, and Bress is going back. So that double power bomb makes that gauntlet check possible.
I'm not saying it's the correct play.
No,
but
we're not.
I would probably do it. Guarantee my supers and just.
I would potentially go check 230 while you're down here. You're not likely to come back again. It's not the fastest check, but with the chance that you're never going to. Yep, and that's exactly what we see ProfessorSchool doing. And let's see how this pays off, because this is going to be much quicker than going through Gauntlet.
True, but you also have the chance that the front item in Gauntlet is still one of those majors.
You do.
So you're guaranteed to get the super missile, not only 1 but 2 of them, and you have a shot at a 3rd item as well.
True.
But I don't hate this check either.
I definitely don't hate this check. And one of the things to note with that 2 in criteria is that suits can never appear in criteria. However, progression to get to the suits could be the items that are in criteria. So it is, they're not like less important in criteria, but knowing that they can't be suits definitely doesn't help. We are going to go ahead and see a BT check here from Prof. This is definitely a bit of a gamble, I would say.
Yeah, I can see it both ways. I don't hate this check. It is a little bit slower, but hey.
But Screw Attack immediately putting me to shame and paying off in dividends.
That could be Screw Attack. Not, it is possible for it to be a quote-unquote progression item, like if you don't get an early explosive. In this case, it's not. But having it this early, knowing that you have a much safer lower Norfair, or even potentially it helps with, like, if you, want to skip Varia, really nice item to have.
It also makes Gauntlet
yeah,
much more convenient.
100%.
If we need to go ahead and do some hell runs through Upper Norfair, through Cathedral, that does make that a lot easier to do on a low tank count.
Right.
Which we've seen so far, where still don't have any additional tanks.
Right. Ooh.
Other than this one that's potentially a Croc.
We've got Croc at the top of, well, it's at the bottom of Red Tower, but it's the top portal. 1-1 Croc.
And we see Prof is going for Gauntlet. One thing to note, we did see Bress stop momentarily after finding Croc and standing still just to hold on. Big moment for Bress.
Oh,
he
was
just
out of
missed.
Position, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think the bomb tilted him slightly, and that is...
He can still do the jump here.
Okay.
It's out of logic, but it's definitely possible.
So we're going to go ahead and see how this pans out. And it's going to be even more important to be what that portal is, depending on how much time Bress is going to spend getting up to checking what that could be.
I think he got it here. He just needs to hold up. All right. That'll work, too.
Well, that's some gaming.
Yeah, we got a gamer over here. And that's good. That's good information to have.
It's good information to have, but that's not the green Bryn you're hoping for.
No, but that could save a lot of time later. So definitely like to see the front of Lower Norfair. One thing I do want to point out about Prof's play here, again, as I mentioned earlier, I probably would have done it just to get the supers. And as it turns out, he is going to be the first person to get to supers. Bress cannot check any other items really right now, and Red Brinstar to even get a super.
But it's not just about in Red Brinstar, because we know that there's going to be no majors. Bress also can't check those minors, and if he is going to go to Lower Norfair, he is going to be gambling, assuming he did find the front, I believe, correct?
Correct. So that was kind of like the point that I was making, which is that like even though there's no majors here, he literally cannot get into any of the locations.
Bress remembering to check Red Tower, safe.
And the other thing is like I really like Prof's play, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna pan out. Ooh, I like this play. He's gonna be able to check.
He's going to be able to check that little crab entrance. And he already has a safety down, knowing Main Street.
Oh, that was a little bit rough. I'm not sure. All right, there we go.
Yeah. You definitely want to kill that crab, given that we have no suits. The amount of damage that could deal is quite catastrophic.
Ooh.
Oh. Okay.
Opposite of last game, Bress being the first person to come across charge early.
So one thing about charge, as we did mention last game, great at doing some soft lock prevention, but in order for charge to really gain all of the value you would get from a time save, you need to get paired with other beams.
That's right.
So Prof going to go ahead and then check this Red Tower, get to Red Fish, and let's see what he's going to do. He's going to double back. I think Prof wants that extra portal knowledge from the downside of Red Bryn.
It's really funny. Bress did not check the back of Gauntlet in the last race either. It helped him actually last race.
Yeah.
This one might end up costing him a good bit at the beginning.
Well, let's see if he does this now. But again, both seeds definitely having supers and showing up quite late in the seed. This is usually something you would see a couple minutes in.
He's going to die.
Yeah. Now, I think we should point out this is not like a GG by any means, but this is definitely, I would say, a significant setback. One of the things is Bress still retains all of this knowledge.
Not only is it, I mean, he's at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
This is 9 minutes is a catastrophe. Let's not call it anything other than what it is.
But he has the portal knowledge. He won't have to backtrack that whole 9 minutes.
He does, but I was going to point out earlier, this is why you need to be careful. He chose not to jump and lay the power bomb, which guaranteed that it was not going to kill the bugs, and he didn't have any missiles to kill them with. So you got to be careful. I'm a big fan of like being a little more careful with the power bomb there to guarantee that you're not going to get in a bad situation. But you're right. He does have the information. Losing that charge beam kind of sucks though because it was slow to get it.
Yeah, you're not going to go back for that, especially if that's not going to get you anything immediately. Once you get the other beams, potentially you have gravity, and that's easier to traverse. Having that information in your back pocket, it could be very useful.
He can though wait. Yeah, he can wait until later to pick it up, which is helpful.
And I see in chat, should have saved, I guess. No, because saves are for cowards.
I think saving is a good idea myself, but
yeah, we say that sort of memeing at this point,
of course. But they do, I mean, you know, if you want to be like actual literal about it, yeah, sometimes taking too many saves can cost you time that could get you beat. But I also find that I find out that more people lose from a lack of saving than lose from saving too much.
And listen, if you're new to Super Metroid and you hear us saying something that's like saves are for cowards, you know, you should really play to like what your level is and your comfort level.
100%.
Yeah, it's like if you MM2 definitely showing us why he's in the top bracket of this. Sorry, MM2, we love you. And let's see this power bomb. Before an Upper Norfair for Prof with no E-tanks, we're going to go ahead and see what's in here at the high jump boots location. And then do you think we're going to go ahead and see if Prof does pick up an E-tank spiking what could be at ice? Or do you think he's just going to skip all of this?
Well, ice isn't in logic without any energy tanks. Well, there's speed boost here. One item.
But I was saying if he did pick up the E-tank, or if this is the E-tank.
Then I would check ice in this situation. Even at minimum, just to know.
Yeah, save scum it.
Yeah. You could make the argument though that in an aggressive play you could skip it. Did that get over far enough?
I don't think so. I mean, to be fair, once you've already done this, right, and you know you're this behind, Bress is not feeling great right now.
He's not.
And I think that can definitely affect gameplay. But, I mean, again, both top-tier runners, but it's all about getting into that mental state and executing on that at the same time.
100%. Yeah.
And, yeah, no ice check.
As someone who has died in many of these races before, I can assure you it does not feel great.
Yeah.
So I can identify with what Bress is going through here. All right. Nice speed booster use there to get that jump on Prof's side.
And we are going to end up seeing a climb finally.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm curious about, we still haven't seen what these two in criteria are, have we?
Well, one of them is screw attack.
Oh, one of them is screw attack, that's right.
I don't think we've seen the other, so it could be a moat. I don't think we've seen the moat yet.
No, I don't think we've seen either of those portals.
But then there's a few other kind of inconvenience, like, you know, back
climb
to
supers,
maze,
yeah.
stuff like that. So there's still, it's probably around 50-50 or worse that it's going to be easily accessible.
All right, let's see if Prof goes. Has Prof saved it all?
Yes. Like, you mean like ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, Prof saved before doing Gauntlet.
That's right. I mean, that would still be, if he were to die at this moment, that would still be like a major setback.
It would. Not as much.
Not as bad as Bress's.
What Bress is dealing with, but it would certainly not be good.
Well, I mean, one thing to note, with no tanks, no suits going through West Meridia, these enemies hit hard.
They certainly do.
And you can find yourself in a very, very dangerous situation very quickly.
Western Meridia is no joke.
Yeah, Western Meridia is no joke. That said, we do have two seasoned runners here, you know, performing at an extremely high level.
Yeah.
But accidents happen.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. All right, so let's hopefully avoid.
Yeah, there we go. That's some pro gaming. Prof having some movement with the speed booster. One thing to note at home for the uninitiated, speed booster, while great for going fast, will dampen your jump height slightly. So
That's a kind way of putting it.
Yeah. I'm trying to, you know, be inclusive of solo speed booster
right, no,
here.
I got you.
That said, finding high jump with speed booster is an absolutely glorious piece of movement. Without, it's still great for the progression that it unlocks, but you want to find that high jump to get back to your muscle memory.
For sure. And just to go a little bit kind of deep in the bag, I actually would, for anybody out there interested in either speedrunning Super Metroid or doing Randomizer, I would actually recommend, we have somewhere on our main Discord, you can probably find an image. There's a graph that shows the exact amount of time you have to hold Speed Booster down to get different jump heights, and it is wild how much Speed Booster affects what can happen. Like, it's not linear. So anyway, what Kupo is getting at is that I think every runner out there struggles a little bit with the no high jump boot Speed Booster situation.
It's a thing to behold.
Yeah.
Also wanted to shout out again, for anyone who would like to try some of these seeds, feel free to go to dashrando.net, and you'll be able to go ahead and run the exact settings we have here, which is SGL23, full item randomization, full item countdown, and bosses shifted. And at 60 minutes, we still haven't seen any bosses.
We have not. Oh, we got the back of
East Meridia with 1. So the highest density area that we've seen so far with items is Green Bryn, and was that with 3, I believe?
Oh, have we've seen Green Bryn in this?
Didn't we just see Green Bryn?
Oh, is he heading back to it? Okay, yeah. He probably just wanted to check.
It's not been updated yet on the tracker, but I'm pretty sure we did see Green Bryn.
Yeah, I think this is it right here. Yep,
Yeah,
so
Green Bryn
with
with
3-6. Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting number to see.
That's a lot of energy.
We did see Upper Norfair with 4, but at 0 tanks, that puts a lot of Upper Norfair not exactly the best position to go explore.
Hey, listen, as someone who loves energy tanks, I would love to see this. I'd be collecting all those energy tanks.
Okay. Prof, showing those little mini side hoppers what's up with some screw attack action. Gonna collect a super off of this, and let's see what this leads to.
I'm gonna go with Upper Norfair. Oh, pre-aqueduct. So that actually rounds out our Western Meridian map.
Bress finding Greenbrand. So one thing I did want to note again earlier is that even though Bress had a death at 9 minutes in, that does not mean Bress has another 9 minutes to make up. He's definitely at a disadvantage.
For
but
sure.
finding these things around the same time as Prof is definitely important. That said, Bress is still much lower on his ammo. Doesn't have speed booster or screw attack or X-ray.
There's that gravity suit. That's going to make the waterway check a lot easier.
But
He's not going to check it.
Well, at 2, do you go ahead and... I mean, gravity is... the waterway is definitely a lengthier check. With 2 left, do you go ahead and you check
100%.
that? Yeah.
I mean, this early in a seed, with it being 2-6 in this zone, I do not want to come back. I'm full clearing all this. I mean, it's not even that bad, really, with the gravity suit.
Let's also go ahead and try to get inside the mind of Prof here for a little bit, right? Prof believing that the last game was skewed in favor of him making a lengthier check at Croc to go ahead and pick up charge, and that's what cost him the race. Prof could potentially be thinking right now he needs to be making riskier checks, going ahead and skipping things, being a little bit more aggressive in order to make up that difference to secure this going to a Game 3.
Yeah, that's true. Bress getting across with a nice CWJ there. Nice job, Bress. That's very difficult trick to do.
Here we see that extreme aggression going for the extremely highly dense areas in Green Brinstar. And let's see what's up. Is this going to be like, wow?
Oh, there's one of them.
Are we going to see just like last seed, this being where all the answers lie? It is. There's the reserve tank seed unlocked. Let's go.
Yeah, reserves count as 2 majors in this. All right, so we saw that plasma. Where's the other major going to be? But also, part of the reason that I would have just gone ahead and done waterway and probably just about everything over there is because, especially after finding that gravity suit, is I want to get as many energy tanks as I can so I can potentially just skip Varia. And since, like, I would basically be assured of leaving this zone with almost enough to do it right at the very beginning of the game.
So we're talking about skipping Varia. Could we go ahead and talk about when the situations would occur where you would want to be skipping Varia? Because it's come up in a few of the seeds across this tournament.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I think many newer players or beginner players would consider as like a viable strat. So let's talk about what's involved in doing that and why you would potentially be looking to make those sorts of plays.
Yeah, so the simple version is a Hell Run Lower Norfair is never a requirement in the logic, so it's not like something that a player would have to do. However, in a racing situation, if you have, let's say you have 2 high-level players playing each other, then, especially in full, when you get into these late-game situations where, let's say you have enough energy tanks and gravity suit, but you not sure where Varia is, then if you have some protective items like screw attack or plasma, you can make that a viable play, and it's faster than looking for the Varia suit. So it's not something that you go into a seed like proactively trying to do. It's more of a response to a certain circumstance.
Understood. And so as we expected, Prof went ahead and going ahead favoring the left side of Greenbrand where we have more dense, paying off with that plasma beam and that ice beam. And also then getting half of the E-tanks along the way. So it looks like the right side of Greenbrand is where the remaining 3 E-tanks are.
There's 3 tanks, so that's water.
Spore spawn, right? Mission Impossible. So
I'm sorry, what was the last major you found? Ice beam?
Ice beam.
Nice.
Yeah. But again, all on the left side of Greenbrand. So let's see where this leads up to. And then we'll see if this is going to be a follow-through or if this might be Turian like it was in the last seed.
Right.
Bressingham picking up that reserve tank.
Oh, there is Torian. Look at you, Kupo.
That's like I wrote this thing or something.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to give a special shout out to Mass, who did do a lot of the. Turian was there last
There,
night.
he's right over here.
Yeah, Mass right here.
Oh, yeah, he's literally on the. There he is right there, yeah.
Mass is one of the other Dash randomizer devs who helped build a lot of the logic, and I would say pretty much like the majority of the business logic for this.
I'm really, really happy that Mass has been one of my best friends since college, and so, I take advantage of that. Sometimes I'll hit him up and be like, hey, man, I want to do X, Y, or Z, and he always works really hard on it, so I've said it on multiple streams. I really believe people have no clue how many hours this dude has worked on behalf of this project, so thank you, Mass. We really appreciate you, man.
I think we should also, at the moment, go ahead and give a special shout-out as well to, ProfessorSchool going ahead and making most of the Spore spawn check and then abandoning it.
Yeah. I think he knows it's the
Yeah,
E-tank.
he knows it's the E-tanks. So I do wonder how this is going to play into the Varialist search, or if he's just going to commit to Varia on this. We'll have to see how that plays out. Before I forget, did want to shout out to some of the other Dash team members.
100%,
So we've got Rumble, Papa Schmo, Cassidy, and Derp.
That's right. And there were a lot of also things. Cassidy couldn't join us, but he is responsible for a lot of the unique things that exist in here. So it really has been a team effort, and we've had a lot of fun working together.
It's been great. It's been also great to meet up with everyone in person. If you're watching this and you're interested in seeing some of these races live and getting the amazing experience that comes with it, come down next year. We're looking to, grow this community, and I think the more races we can have, the better, especially in person.
100%.
All right. Prof going up, Western Meridian. We're going to go ahead and see what these beach items might have for us.
Ooh.
Finding the one major early is definitely
nice.
a big advantage, knowing that with just an E-Tank, you're likely not going to spend any time doing Mama Turtle or any of the other items.
Yeah, and, to be fair here, the bombs itself has some diminished value relative to the fact that you already have 20 power bombs, you have screw, and you have speed. But as Kupo pointed out, it's nice to know what the item is early. And there are still places where it can be useful, so it's not like a terrible item. I've always really liked bombs.
I mean, bombs can be great. For example, in the last race, Centurion, we did see Breast getting grabbed without bombs, unable to then do an ice freeze. That's recoverable now for
bombs
Prof. Should
is
that occur.
it's a very versatile item.
Bombs is very versatile, depending on which stage of the game that you're in. It can have a lot of different uses, whether that's movement or whether that's to go ahead and break walls, soft lock preventions. But I think, Breast making the same move, it feels good. Sorry, we're seeing Prof going ahead and checking Waterway, knowing it's likely going to be an E-Tank, or at most it can't be a major.
Yeah, Prof, the way that he's gone about doing this is a little inefficient, but at the same time, sometimes it's better. Let's put it to you this way. Sometimes if you realize that you've done something that you don't prefer to do, but then you think it's too late to do it and you just don't do it, it can actually be bad in the long run. So I don't blame him for going back and getting the extra E-tanks here.
Yeah. Yeah, someone, I think, mentioning out Prof being tired, and I have to say, if anyone wants to see all the amount of races Prof has put in, they're all incredible, and you can see how draining this is to perform these many games at this high of a level, at this sort of setting with this stage. Your nerves when you're racing on the main stages are firing at all levels. The mental strain is real, and seed bleed is also particularly a factor in this as well.
Endurance is a real skill, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to playing these races. 100%. So here's the thing. So I was saying earlier that I would prefer to just go ahead and grab everything when I first came into Green Bryn.
Yep.
Because of the reason of trying to get all those E-tanks. Not because I'm saying that I'm guaranteed to be able to pay off on that investment. It just provides a little more flexibility. So it could turn out that this is a good investment for Prof, but randomizer is some of it is RNG. So it could be that he runs directly into Various suit and doesn't really need those energy tanks right away. So you just never know. But I personally like to be a little more flexible on the front end.
Yeah, and this is really going to depend, too, on the strategy that Prof wants to take. On the routing decision, while we were mentioning this is a little bit more inconvenient or inefficient for Prof, Bressingham, granted, has much less tanks, does have screw attack now at this stage, but is in Upper Norfair with 2 with speed. And he can go ahead and start checking Business Center. If that's where Varia lies, then that's going to be a big advantage for Bress.
You're right on the money, Kupo. Bress is definitely not out of this race yet.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that can happen, too, is Prof has a huge lead and doesn't know it, but might not feel that way.
That's one of the critical things about this. Both runners last seed finding all progression items fairly close to each other, but quite late for what you would normally do in the seed due to having somewhat similar routing. So I can imagine, even though one of them had a very comfortable lead, neither of them felt particularly great. Prof also looking like he's not feeling super great without knowing that, he has, especially at some point, had a very commanding lead and probably still does to a large degree. So we're going to have to see, how that factors into his decision. Neither of these runners know where the other is for those watching for the first time or can share any of the information. So at almost 30 minutes in with no bosses, no Varia, this isn't what I would call a jet seed.
No, definitely not. All right, so we got Prof here entering East Meridia from the highway side. Going to head over to the Botwoon area. The speed booster is going to make getting those aqueduct missile locations a lot easier.
We won't see the steezed out snail clip that we saw from Bress last seed.
Right, which was great, though. And Bress, in the meantime, has found the back of Rex ship and is going to check this out. For Bress's sake, I hope that he does not run into Ridley here. That would be really the only bad fight. Literally, even on 62 energy, but with gravity suit, every other boss would be fairly easy.
Yeah, so, one thing to point out, even though Bress does have very low energy, Bress does have microwave with that charged plasma X-ray. So we'll have to see how that sort of pans out.
All right, we got a super here. For Prof, what do we have on Bress's side? We got another. Ooh, that's
a clutch tank right there.
That is very comfy. And then we have a reserve over here for Prof.
I think Prof picking this up is definitely indicating that if he doesn't find Varia, fairly soon and on his way, he's just going to go suitless. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Dude, what would be a really interesting play is
nice movement, Prof.
Bress is probably playing, as though he needs to make up time. Again, he doesn't know what happened to Prof. For all he knows, Prof could have also died or whatever. But he's playing a little aggressively. It would be really interesting for him to, if he could kill the boss here, to commit himself to finding the major here no matter what. It would be a big time sink if it wasn't an important item, but he's already behind. If it happened to be Varia, though, like at an inconvenient place, and he'd be getting it way before Prof.
We know based on this transition that, Bress would be able to kill the boss, and we can see it is Kraid. So imagine Varia is behind Kraid here.
Well, yeah, that, or what if it's like top of wreck ship and he just commits to doing it with something that Prof wouldn't do? That would be a way to equalize this. So
yeah.
I'm interested to see the strategic decisions coming here.
Nice Kraid quick kill while we go ahead and we see a microwave being finished up on Botwoon, and let's see what these these items coming up for both players are going to be.
Oh, well, it's nice to find that early, though.
Yeah, Space Jump is, it's a nice pickup for sure.
It is, and the fact that he now knows that nothing else is in wreck ship, but he's killed the boss, doesn't need to come back here, and gets full value out of that item is actually nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Real nice for Bress. Everybody loves Space Jump.
I think Tracy really likes Space Jump. I've heard her talk about it a few times.
Tracy is definitely a fan. Yeah. Here he goes. He's just going to exit. Let's see where he goes here.
I did see him hesitate going ahead thinking about checking that, but then corrected, and he's just he's going full-on aggression, which if you took a death at 9 minutes in and you're feeling behind, that's the play you want to make. You want to just go, go, go. As we see him go across the ocean, let's see what this leads to.
Go gadget. Ooh, wow.
That's good.
Wow. This is scary, though, because if this is Ridley.
Yeah, if this is Ridley, this is not great. But let's go ahead and talk about why this is going to play an important part in the race. E-Tank also very good there. So even though Kraid has 0 majors and this one E-Tank, by Kraid, which is a dead-end portal, being at the end of a duo, this could lead to very inefficient routing.
It could. It could.
But let's see. Bress has a 2 and 3 shot.
This is going to be very good for Bress if it's not Ridley. If it is Ridley, it's a bit of a problem. You could even argue that maybe checking that first item in wreck ship, had it been a super, could have maybe given you enough to be able to do it with 20 supers and then the ice plasma charge. But, yeah, I'm actually really interested because even though Bress is still behind, this is the kind of situation that could help him get back in the game.
All right,
see what happens.
What do you think, chat? Who is this going to be? And then what's Prof about to go up against? And we see Ridley. That is an immediate reset.
The worst possible situation.
I will say, if that wasn't Ridley, this was about to become like a race with a capital R. It
was. Yeah.
And we can go ahead and see Prof preparing, thinking that this could be Ridley, knowing that Ridley takes double damage from supers, using those single missiles, and we've got Dragon instead, which is probably a bit of a sigh of a relief for Prof here.
Yeah, this basically means, if you think about what all Prof is going to run into from this point forward, even if he doesn't find Varia, this essentially means that anytime he runs into Ridley, he's going to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
All those energy tanks.
That was the return on investment you're seeing. If you picked up Varia, then those become critically less important. But this is a long backtrack here for Bress to go through Ocean, to go ahead and have to come back to go ahead and take down Ridley.
That's brutal.
And as sad as that is for Bress, you know what that means, though?
What's that?
Pending anything catastrophic happening, we might be getting a Game 3.
We might, which would be a lot of fun.
After, I believe, 3 days of seeing nonstop Super Metroid, I'm not done. I want more.
Hey, man. I'm ready to start another tournament as soon as we get home. Come on, let's do it. Apparently the code that we put in to make double jump show up more frequently didn't show up for this one. I'm a little disappointed.
I'll have to complain to someone. Let them know how visibly disappointed I am about this.
Well, Bress is going to get some value out of that space jump. Unfortunately, though, yeah, this is about as inefficient routing as you can get. Not really his fault, just kind of how it panned out.
I mean, rando be rando.
Sometimes it's going to be that way.
And I got to say, even though there was a 9-minute death in, I think Bress has played this incredibly well.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure, Prof, very tired right now, had some very draining matches this week. But Prof also just playing this incredibly well. And again, having only started really doing rando a year ago has shown just how much potential he has in this scene.
100%, yeah. He's gotten very, very competitive very quickly. Which I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Prof was already a good vanilla runner prior, and he had the good fortune of being trained by Zeb, who's one of our best players. So.
Yeah, Zeb getting second place last night. Also a great match against the Draxus, who took first for this whole tournament.
That's right. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Draxus told me last night, that is a Draxus's third randomizer tournament in a row being the champion.
That definitely sounds accurate. I can't remember all the stats, but I do remember.
I don't think anybody else has ever done that before.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's see what these majors are. Both runners coming up to. That's not good.
Rough.
But that was going to be very interesting if that did happen to be Varia at the wave location.
You're 100% right.
But all of these E-tanks that Prof spent picking up paying off big time right now. And going all the way back to Kraid, I'm going to have to do Forgotten Highway again. That's rough. But that said, you know, anything can happen at this stage, especially if Prof is going to go ahead and do a Variolus lower Norfair.
Right. Yeah, saves looming large in this particular race.
Everybody saves sometimes.
Everybody saves. And everyone resets.
Everyone, I definitely reset a lot. Usually with a, yeah, not feeling the best after a reset.
Unfortunate.
All right, with one left, we're looking at either Cathedral, I believe, or the Upper Norfair Reserve. And a Prof not choosing to farm up, given the amount he has in his reserve tank, along with having 2 Crystal Flashes worth of ammo.
Oh, he's got grapple.
Yeah, he does have grapple. Using all the strats in this one, though. Let's see.
With that speed booster, probably would have been better to not press dash. Maybe he didn't. Nah, I couldn't quite tell if he had the distance or not.
Yeah, but Prof obviously a little jolted during all of this, and it's understandable.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice super. Even with charge, I like to get a few extra supers. Really helps for Ridley.
Yeah, you want, if you're going to be doing again a Variolus Ridley, you really want to have 30 supers to just get in and out. All right, Prof, let's go. Let's do this. Gonna take a save, or we're gonna go ahead and reset the room. I like this save personally.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But Bress showing the power of space jump right there, going through, and whoop.
It's really interesting that they're in like the same location.
Yeah.
Just with different item loadouts.
And Bress choosing not to go through.
Wait, did ProfessorSchool decide not to check the? Did he check the top left?
He did not.
Huh.
I believe this was similar to one of the other races he had where Varia was there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that one. But, you know, everybody does their thing.
That said, Prof is super comfortable with doing RBO, right? Prof, if you're going to skip, this is the play. You got this. That's right. That's what's up. Let's see this happen. And Prof going into this not knowing that Ridley is going to be the end at this Kraid lair.
Right. Good. The good news is even if he doesn't pick up anything beforehand, there is a very convenient energy refill, and mini Kraid can be reloaded to fill up on supers and provide energy to your reserve. So it's a really safe, comfy situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to see Ridley at a non-vanilla location, especially if you're running suitless, you really want it to be at Kraid due to that,
100%.
yeah, that mini Kraid being at the drop of supers.
Great point, yeah. Okay. Prof actually going to the portal first, which I think is an interesting play, and it's going to pay off.
Well, given that there's one in West Meridia, I think Prof wants that portal knowledge. Actually, he might just know that has to be Kraid.
Does he already have all the info?
I can't remember at this point.
Maybe he does, yeah. It's hard for me to keep.
Let's open this up to chat. Chat, how much portal info does Prof have? He's going to try to scout this. Very difficult scout.
Yeah, I struggle with that one. All right, on Bress's side, we're going to have a much easier Botwoon this time. Top pattern doesn't matter. Oh, that's not even top pattern. But in this case, didn't matter anyway. He cleaned it right up with that microwave beam.
And we did see Bress check one of the sand pits as well. We're going to see a really convenient E, so no farming up for energy. Let's see that save, and then let's go ahead, get those supers up to 30, and it's going down.
We're going to get a suitless Ridley. This one...
It's going to be pretty safe,
This
I'd
one is
say.
very, very comfy, relatively speaking, yes.
We saw Prof do a suitless or a varioless Ridley earlier in this tournament, and I would say he's got it down very comfortably.
I agree. Let's see the execution here.
Kev calling for everyone to turn off all suits. Let's just do this whole thing.
And boom. Here we go.
All right, Prof, let's see some gaming.
Get to hear that sound ticking down.
Boom, 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 boom. Important to note, though, I do believe in the other Ridley fight, slightly missing that manip.
He missed one super right there. He'll need 6 regular or probably just, one charge shot there.
Is that they do not have high jump for this.
Is that a big deal?
I don't know. I'm not a suitless Ridley guy. So.
Sorry, that's just me joking around. I actually like fighting Ridley without high jump boots because I'm used to it from low ice a lot.
Oh, okay.
But I can understand why high jump would make it a lot more comfortable.
I just remember seeing one of the strats where, and you can see even still with like a couple E-tanks left, that is Prof gaming.
Yeah, very nice, Prof.
I thought I did see a strat where they were going off the wall, going much higher to go ahead and get Ridley in like a much easier manipulation. But again, this is not my forte. I'm not the expert in all of this. I'm just here to talk.
Well, there's all kinds of ways you can approach it. That's actually one of the things I love about not only Super Metroid speedrunning, but it's Rando as well. Like, you really can, choose your own adventure. In terms of strats, how you approach things, it's a very flexible game. I love it. Bress choosing to skip those supers up there.
All right, Prof going to go back, take down the... Is that Kraid left for him? Yep.
Correct.
And then he is going to just mark his way through Lower Norfair. And Prof obviously knows that there is one in Wreck Ship, but is going to find that bombs immediately and know he doesn't have to do the rest of Wreck Ship.
Yeah, the space jump, I think.
Yep. No, it's bombs, isn't it?
I think bombs was the first item
it's space
in
jump. It's space
West
jump.
Meridian.
Yeah.
Was that Varia?
Yeah, it's Varia at the sandpit. We've seen a lot of Varia at sandpit in this tournament, I gotta say.
We have. So at this point, I mean, that's a good thing for Bress. We know that ProfessorSchool, I'm going to assume, is very unlikely to come back to get this.
He's not going.
However, given the fact that Ridley is not in Lower Norfair and Prof, I feel like a prophet almost. I talked about earlier about why those 6 energy tanks could be very valuable.
Yeah.
It provides more flexibility. The fact that he took the time to collect those, should be, I'm not saying it's impossible, to get into trouble, but this should be a very comfortable Lower Norfair, especially with 25 power bombs and 30 supers.
Yeah, Prof's got this.
So I'm pretty confident Prof is.
Sorry, when I say this, Prof's got a suitless Lower Norfair, no problem.
In fact, he told me he had practiced a lot of it during League when he was running Dash Recall because of that heat shield option. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident. Especially, on top of all the energy, Screw Attack is worth like 5 energy tanks or something crazy anyway because it just guarantees you to get out of a lot of tricky situations.
Yeah,
so he's in good shape.
Screw a Tank is a great insurance policy for doing Lower Norfair.
That's a good way to describe it.
I think something really exciting just happening on Speedgaming, not to detract from our own channel, but That might be worth a watch.
I think that was Wind Waker over there. Technically, yesterday they asked me to take a big group picture of them outside the hotel. So I feel like, does that mean I'm now one of them too? Am I a Wind Waker person too?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not too familiar with Wind Waker. What I am familiar with though is that Prof is getting ready to beeline it straight to Lower Norfair. I don't think he's feeling too great about this seed though.
maybe. I think he's probably beating himself up a little too much for the early
Nice
sort of
skip.
inefficiencies, but I don't think he should. I will add, though, about the Wind Waker thing, it's not just Wind Waker, but anything else going on here. It's been cool because I've been around a bunch of games that I don't typically watch.
I mean,
so
watching
really
watching people play at this level is always incredible, regardless of what the game is.
100%. I've seen a lot of Link rolling around in OOT.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, he wants to. He wants to. No, he's smart. No, he's not. No, he should have farmed the room before the
Yeah, Prof is farming for supers right now. He wants to go ahead and get that count up, as he's going to need that ammo for performing the crystal flashes necessary to do the suitless Lower Norfair. He could try to gamble on getting 1 or 2 packs along the way, but you don't really want to be gambling, and especially when you're running against the counter there.
Right. Sam is training for her high jump.
Yeah.
Or triple jump competition on Zebus for the Olympics.
Yeah, this is some Samus gymnastics right here.
Yeah. All right.
All right, we're
Prof's
at
got
full
it.
supers. Let's see it.
Prof's got it. Let's take a look.
All right, so the chronic boost, instead of leading to the front like the vanilla game, is now going to lead to the back of Lower Norfair, which if you're going to be doing an area rando, this is the entrance you want to be going through.
100%.
All right, and we're going to see Screw Attack and why it's so powerful right now.
I would not check anything here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't check a single thing. I think it's significantly a better decision to not try to check a single thing, keep everything in the room on the right pattern that you're used to, not be in acid for too long, protect yourself. There's really nothing you can pick up in here that's going to be the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah.
So I would just focus on surviving and getting through this. But
So
the
other thing too is we always talk about picking items being like a time investment, right? But in this case, sorry MST. Aside from a time investment, this is also a health investment as well. For the amount of cost that it's going to take to, you're losing more health seeing wave, going back and then deciding to go back and pick it up.
And there's only one energy tank. Now he might get bailed out and find one right in his path, but I think the best decision here would just be to straight up go for it and ignore everything.
Yeah, I mean that said, obviously with the investment, he has plenty of energy, he has plenty of ammo, he's got the skills, he's got the movement. So this, it's not like it's risking death or anything like that.
Oh,
Missing
and
that
like I said earlier, yeah, you get
and that's
bailed out.
That's the bailout.
He would have been fine either way, but yeah. I don't mind this check. I think this check is better because you're in a room that's not heated.
And you're also likely to be getting some power bombs anyways in case you were missing some from the fire fleas.
Right. I find it fascinating that Prof was unwilling to check behind Kraid, but will check in the middle of the heated runs. Because that space jump would have actually been valuable here. But again, he's got so much energy, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
And a little use of those regular bombs, saving some lag, and also keeping things on a good, tight, normalized schedule here in the room.
And you want to be using, you want to be saving your power bombs for doing the crystal flashes, not for movement. Yeah.
What does he want here? There's no more energy tank. You don't need any more miners. I guess like a reserve, maybe?
And to be clear, Varia cannot be in Lower Norfair by logic. So there's no way he's picking up Varia in Lower Norfair.
Right.
So, I mean, the major that was left to him could be space or spring ball, and neither of those is really providing an immense amount of value for the amount of health you're going to be losing, for the amount of time you're going to be losing.
That's fair. I forgot that the wave beam was not the only major in the zone, so yeah, that's a good call. But Bress has actually, you know, all things considered, all the bad things that have happened to him, I mean,
both of these players have been doing incredible. Bress, you know, taking a death 9 minutes in.
Taking another one.
He's taking a few.
He had to fight Cray twice.
He did fight Cray twice, and you know what else? He also had to backtrack multiple times through this wrecked ship. Yeah. Very unfortunate, but, you know, still doing pretty good overall.
Yeah.
Prof shaking his head. Yeah, if you've been watching this race for more than 5 minutes, you'll realize he does that. And it's been a pretty consistent thing throughout all the races. Also want to give a special shout out to Prof. Getting to meet him has been really awesome. And watching him race in person is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Prof's a great guy. Bress too. Both really chill, fun guys to be around. It's been nice getting to chat with him.
Prof especially, seeing him race in person, there is an energy around it that is incredible.
That's right. All right, so let's look at the map here. Oh, Bress is already there. Holy moly.
Yeah, this is way closer than it could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't think this is going to sway the race, but like...
No, Prof is still ahead, but like, man, Bress lost. Like, if you count not only the 9-minute thing at the beginning, and then you count the backtrack, and then you count the other death, like... This is a lot tighter than I thought.
The fact that Bress is here already really shows to the strength of how good Bress is as a runner.
He is very good.
For anyone else, this would be, it's like, you know, not at last boss down, you know, in the same area as Prof.
Prof making a very prudent decision here. Just going to chill. And then that is going to be plenty of energy to get out. Should not need another crystal flash. And he can kind of just cruise.
Yeah. Fun fact, you do need energy to make it through Lower Norfair, especially as it ticks down.
This is a little tricky here. Okay, good.
Yeah,
so they're running out of their iframes. I like dropping that power bomb a little bit lower so that you don't give the enemy iframes, so then you can just screw attack right away.
Quick little nice speedball to go ahead and save on the power bombs outside of there. And then, yeah, this is, like you said, Prof has this. This is going to be a very comfy exit, especially with screw attack going through that key hunters here and before the actual exit. Going to not really be much of an issue at all.
No, this should
Unless
not.
We've just cursed them. Nope, all good.
No. This should be perfectly fine. The only way it would be bad is if Prof like kind of forgot about some of the jump height stuff with Speed Booster and wasn't like diligent about it. As long as he's careful,
yeah,
he should be very comfy getting through Three Musketeers with this loadout. But again, he just needs to relax and do his thing. That spike hit, I think he got hit by a spike there. Actually, is pretty bad. Although gravity does provide in our randomizer 50% reduction. So yeah, he's got plenty of energy. He's got those reserves. This should not be a problem.
Man, we're going to see him manually spike that. Yeah, he's good. It really shows the value of reserve tanks and why you should always pick them up no matter what.
Hey, I'm a fan of reserves. I know we got some people in the audience that are less than thrilled about reserves. All right,
you know, I think we should actually have a new scavenger mode in Dash where you have to pick up all the reserves as an unlock to G4. All right. And with that and the Lower Norfair exit, we can see Prof making his way, about to exit the heated rooms, and he is on his way to Turian. Nice grapple strats. Let's see. And he's going to get the health refill right after this. Actually, I don't know. Is he going to get the health refill? He doesn't really need it.
What do you mean, right here?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, yeah. He does. He didn't really need it, but at the same time, it's just like 2 seconds or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of an investment.
There, Bress did what I was talking about. Didn't let the iframes hit the hoppers. Was able to screw them immediately and then get in position to do the speedball.
Beamer showing some reserve solidarity in chat. Shout out, Beamer.
It's It's really funny how we've kind of had Prof didn't die or do anything, like didn't have any major setback in the first race, but we thought Bress was like pretty far ahead, and then as it got near the end, it tightened up. It's the exact reverse this time. We were under the assumption that Prof was way ahead, and he was, but Bress made some really interesting decisions and finding that variant was clutch, helped him get back into it. Prof still comfortably in the lead here.
I would say Prof. Yeah, this is
quite
Prof
a closer race than we thought.
Yeah. All right, we're going to see a little gravity jump here from Prof.
Losing a few seconds here from not necessarily losing, but giving a few of those seconds back from not picking up that space jump at Crade.
Yeah.
Where was Torian again? Top of Green Bryn.
Bryn, yeah, it's a bit of a mission to get back there.
And it looks like they're trying to take the pre-aqueduct portal to get there.
Yeah.
Dude.
Prof showing that fish what's up.
Bress is not that far away. I mean, it's still not enough.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
All right. Prof entering Green Bryn at about 58.0 something. So let's go ahead and see how long that's going to take for Bress to catch back up to that. I'd say he's about like minute and a half, 2 minutes behind.
Yeah, kind of hard for me to read with the thing, but the fact that he's got space jump, I'm going to say it's less. I'm going to say max minute and a half. I'm just shooting from the hip. I have no idea. We'll find out. I'm going to officially say a minute.
Minute 30?
Minute 20.
Minute 20, okay.
Or I'll go with some really weird number. I'll say a minute
127.
22.
Okay.
122.
Okay, I'm going for 147.
All right. Prof avoiding the Decora that time.
The Decora is important, but not as important as winning this race against Bress.
That's true. He did visit the Decora yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, that was a snap accident though.
Right.
Mm. 59.0 something. So was that like 2 minutes?
Let's see at what time the door transition.
Yeah.
I always do it by when the door evens. So right here at 59:17. Okay, 59:17. And let's find out, man. This is crazy. Prof does have a little bit more DPS and does have a little bit easier time probably with the Metroids with that wave beam. And since the investment for the time was already on the front end. What was the time that he entered the door?
59.07.
59:07?
Or 59.17, I believe.
Feeling pretty good about my guess. Dude, it might end up being less than a minute 20.
This is a race. I mean, regardless of whether this comes down to both being an escape or not, this has been extremely entertaining to watch. And the back end, yeah, this has been good.
If it was 17, then it's basically just over a minute. If it was 07, then it's even less than that.
Yeah, 20.
Or a little bit more than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Tight race.
59.17 according to chat. There we go. That was,
there we go. 1 minute, 1 second.
So I think we both know the answer to this, but just to go ahead and meme it up, does this come down to baby skip?
No. I'm going to go with unlikely.
Yeah. I believe, I'm not a baby skipper due to a skill issue. But but baby skip usually does require high jump boots to be viable, right?
Well, there's a lot of folks out there that have come up with baby skip options for all kinds of movement loadouts.
Yeah.
Personally, I just go for it if I have the regular high jump boot speed booster.
Yeah.
But there are some gamers out there that can do it with less. However, the less stuff that you have,
The less the reward.
The more punishing it is when you go for it and miss. So, it just depends. Or the more punishing it can be, I guess would be a better way of describing it.
Speed Z skip, huh?
Yeah, well, yesterday Prof actually cost himself time trying to get it and then trying to do a backup.
Yeah, he didn't want to have to menu and take off screw.
Okay, now that's much better. This time he's going to be in good shape. That was much better than what happened yesterday. All right, very good. And
yeah, so
here we go.
For the uninitiated, you do want to take off screw attack typically when you're going ahead and doing the ice skip due to the mechanics of how screw attack works.
Unless you do the down back method.
Yeah. But again, that's typically like much harder to do.
I feel like it's harder. Some people like it. It's not for me.
Yeah, but a lot of runners. I actually don't really know Prof's strengths or comfortability in this sector, but yeah, a lot of people do prefer to not have screw attack for that, or at least I do.
The real question is, ProfessorSchool can do stand-up, Bressingham cannot, but last race Prof could do it and chose not to. Will he try to do it here? You want to know the true irony, Kupo?
What's the real irony?
The real irony is that going for it would save time, but that is probably the only way Prof could lose, is by having something bad happen.
He's damaging down.
No, so he's not doing it.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. So actually, from a game theory point of view, that's actually the best decision. He just doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Even though it's slower. Oh, no. He forgot that he didn't have Varia. But he's got 3 energy tanks. He's fine. He's fine. Oh, my God.
Everyone here being able to breathe again.
Guys, we just saw 3 reserves be the difference in winning and losing a race.
Metroid MST canceling himself out of this.
I am glad this was recorded for historical purposes. We have witnessed the value of the triple reserve. How about that? We just saw history, Koopa.
Reserve validated.
That's right. Oh, look at Bress. Bress with the strats over here. Nicely done. Man, this race ended up being very tight.
I mean, again, I have said this a few times throughout my comms for this race, but let's go ahead and think about this. Bress took a death 9 minutes in. Brett had to backtrack multiple times, found Ridley at Kraid, a dead end at the end of a duo, a costly
and
duo.
Kill him. Yeah, couldn't kill him at the time.
So I had to go all the way back, and we're in escape together.
I know.
That's incredible.
You gotta love Super Metroid Randomizer. And in Bress's situation, I've been in plenty of races like this where something bad happens to you, but then you're still near the end of the game and they haven't done, and you're like, man, did something bad happen to them too? You just never know what
I mean, neither of these
happen.
runners are feeling like particularly great at the moment, but this is made for some absolutely amazing content. Both of these are going to have a blast watching this back.
That's right. And it means we get a third game.
It means we get a third game. We're going to have to take notes, though. We've got to go ahead and highlight this importance of reserves.
That's right.
In the decision of this seed. All right. We have Prof entering into the escape right now.
Time bomb set. Escape immediately.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. And I think last race, if I recall correctly, we did not have the speed booster, so we'll get some sparks here.
For anyone thinking about Speed Booster in that room, I would highly recommend going back and watching the Prof versus Ace race on this.
Okay.
If you want to see something close, that's what's up.
Yeah, we had, some really really fun competitive matches here. Obviously with Randomizer, even if you have 2 players, sometimes things, 1 or 2 decisions here and there can end up leading to kind of like a wider gap between the result. But Yeah, we had some really, really fun tight races in this tournament.
Bress with the eyeball strats on Mother Brain.
That's right.
Okay, we've got that little diagonal shine spark all the way through climb.
Normally, I would say get your GGs in the chat, but I'm going to say get your reserve tanks in the chat for Prof.
Everyone, yeah, load up on your reserves. It's going down.
And Prof is going to take this one down. What a race.
Bress is going to go ahead and finish this out, just be slightly behind, and what a race.
I know. Look how tight. I think both races, both the runner that lost was in the escape when the winner finished. So this was 2 good races in a row. And we will have one final Super Metroid Randomizer race for our entire event coming up here in a few minutes after the racers get a bit of a break. What a race. I'm looking forward to Game 3.
I cannot. Well, I can wait about 10 minutes.
Right.
And then, yeah, I'm very excited to go and see how this best of 3 turns out. But, wow, that's all I have to say.
And as we mentioned earlier, Bress had a few setbacks, but really played well throughout a majority of the seed. So
you would not think with this that this is like a 9-minute death end.
GG to Bress. Yeah, I was really impressed.
Bress.
Really impressed with that performance given the stuff that happened at the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for sticking around. We got one final Super Metroid Randomizer race for you here at SG Live 2023. Here between Bressingham and ProfessorSchool. This is our bronze match. Winner will get this lovely trophy. But both winners are going to win some cash prizes, which is nice. So we will take a short break, and then we'll be back for the third race. Kupo, anything you want to close with here?
Let's take that break. Let's get round 3 underway. Wind Waker just finished. Shout out Wind Waker.
We'll see you guys shortly.
In a few minutes.
SMR.
Oh, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we are back and ready to go. Kupo, I think we're live here. And we are getting ready for the final race of the bronze match here between Bressingham and ProfessorSchool. It is 1-1 after 2 really tight races. And I think we're going to get some people from the SG staff to come and count us off here in just a moment. Kupo, we got one final race, man. You got a little, I guess, a little extra coffee? Getting boosted up?
I do have an extra coffee. I'm going to need to be extra alert for this race. This is the race we wanted to end the tournament, I think.
Agreed. A nice 3-game set. A lot of excitement going on. 2
really evenly matched runners, a little bit different strategies. And, yeah. Are we ready? No, not quite yet.
I think we're going to need somebody from SG to kick us off. So, in the meantime, we'll just kind of fill in some dead air, I suppose.
So this is the Dash Randomizer tournament.
That's
if
right.
anyone wants to go ahead and roll a seed, read about what Dash is about, you can go to dashrando.net. We do a weekly async race on our Discord. Feel free to jump in. All skill levels are welcome.
Right. Let's see if we can get somebody to come. Countdown. Cool. We got somebody on the way here in just a moment.
Kit making things happen.
Oh, there's a lot of work going on here. A lot of people being pulled in different directions. So,
yeah.
Oh, look at this over here. You can't see it on our stream, but there's some Final Fantasy action going on over here. I love coming to SG Live because there's so many cool things happening.
It is incredible. This is my first year. I'm coming back every year.
Oh yeah, it's a great experience.
And should we also take a moment to just shout out Speedgaming for a little bit?
100%.
I think the staff here has done an absolutely tremendous job. We haven't had very many technical issues, if at all. Everything has been running super smooth. Scheduling has been going great, and it is alive here in Herndon, Virginia.
Big time, and they're very hospitable. In fact, we've had so much fun. We've even had some sort of random people that don't know what this is, like occasionally kind of swing by and kind of look at what's happening. So a lot of excitement. I've had a lot of people ask me in the hallways about, hey, what are y'all doing over there? So,
yeah. And also shout out Amphora Diner, official sponsor of Super Metroid Speed
That's
Gaming.
Right. We've eaten there many times. But, yeah, it looks like we are we've got the player screens here. Now we just need an admin to count us off.
We just need the proctor. Let's get that stat.
Let's see.
I mean, oh, here it comes.
All right, here comes Sigma.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
All right. We're about to go Gucci in a few seconds. Here we go.
All right, the final Super Metroid race of SG Live 2023 kicking off right now. All right.
Let's go.
Let's do this. Okay, so we got ProfessorSchool on your right. You got Bressingham on your left. And I just realized a minute ago that our League Season 4, which wrapped, I want to say earlier this year, their two teams played each other in the semis. So this is kind of I don't know if they played each other individually, but the teams played each other. So this is kind of an interesting rematch here.
The sync is real on this so far, about 31 seconds in.
Yeah, it's tight.
And, Gabe, what's that in the info HUD? Can you explain some of these changes that we've got going on?
Yeah, one final explanation for anybody who happens to be in here for the first time for this race. We've got full countdown here. We've got the HUD up there in the top right. Shows you the number of major items in this area as well as the E-tanks. That bottom number that says 60, that is the amount of damage that their current beam combination would do if they did a charge shot. So obviously, since they don't have charge beam right now and we don't have the starter beam option turned on for this tournament, they don't have the ability to do that, but it will update as they get more beams. So that's what you're looking at with the HUD. We've got bosses shifted, so bosses can be at different locations, but they will still turn on the location where you find them. And we've got full area, so a bunch of different portals. The map's going to look different every time, and check out our tracker here. It's going to get pretty busy here in a little bit.
It's going to get a little bit shoelacy down there in a little bit.
And we start another seed with power bombs, which is nice. We can go ahead and knock out that retro brand check.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, it's retro brand, but it's in the criteria zone.
So one thing that's really critical about this from a gameplay perspective is traditionally in vanilla map, you want to be going straight for items and getting as much item knowledge as possible. In area rando, portal knowledge is equally important, if not sometimes more important early game, to know where you can potentially be picking up some of those items. So not orphaning this initial check, which is quite isolated from the rest of the map, is usually something you really want to see early on as a runner.
You're 100% right. So here we go. We're going to have both our runners go over here and check. They're going to get that item. And in this particular setting, it could be a major.
Yeah.
It isn't, but it is nice to have. I really always enjoy having an early super and an early power bomb, so I now don't have any restrictions on where I go.
Exactly. Having the full set there is usually something you really want to see.
Oh, baby.
A 4/4 green Bryn.
Immediately.
That's what you want to see.
And the fact that you already have the super and the power bomb, perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So for those also just sort of tuning in or who maybe aren't familiar with like area rando, Green Bryn is one of the most item-dense areas in the game. Early on, this is exactly what you want to see. The density leads to picking up the amount of minors that you would want to see and has the most potential for picking up good majors.
The density is important. It's also, generally speaking, one of the safest zones. There are a few places where you need to be careful. The one thing I will point out, though, that considering that this is full countdown and they needed to drop 2 power bombs early, the 3 power bombs actually matter for how you decide to try to clear Big Pink.
Yeah, and
you want to save one to get to the left side later.
And we are going to see a little divergence here. We saw a Green Hill zone that transitioned up to the Key Hunter pre-moat room.
Ooh.
And is Prof going for this item fanfare CWJ? It's looking he didn't hit?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see if Prof goes ahead, out of logic, decides to try to make this CWJ and get this portal knowledge. This could be big.
Oh, he's got it. Oh, wow. Nicely done, Prof.
That's some execution right there. And we have got Red Bryn with 0. That's still a good portal to know.
Oh, that's the top. That's West Meridia.
Yeah, that's Red Fish Room, right?
Yeah, Red Fish. Sorry, I thought you said Red Bryn.
I could have coffee.
Space jump.
And that's the logical progress if you were going to go across that. But seeing these criteria checks is often good. That means Bress is going to be a little bit ahead with his checks, but we can see Bress going back. As we've discussed in some of the previous matches, Prof trying to get that bug to go ahead and get the powerbomb farm off of that. We're going to see Bress going ahead and cleaning up these slower checks and less dense check areas of Green Bryn. It's going to be interesting to see, is Prof going to go ahead with this number and try to clean up everything that's not on the, or clean up everything that's easily on the way, then come back? Or is he going to go through and just check everything as densely as possible?
So Bress, as I pointed out earlier, has already used 2 of his power bombs. Did he end up checking Spore Spawn? If not, he definitely can't do it right now.
I don't think he did.
He's going to use that last power bomb to get to the left side. But the good news is it's possible for him to come back over here if he doesn't find what he needs over there. Kind of just depends on what the portals lead to.
Yeah. I also see Dust in chat. Just want to shout out Dust, who's been with us for the past couple of days here at Speedgaming Live. Great person, great to meet. Hope to see him on comms and doing some Dash in the next year.
100%.
All right, so let's go ahead and see what Bress is going to do. He's going to farm a power bomb here. Smart. And is he going to go check Edikuns now?
Yeah, going to go ahead and knock that out so he can refill on his power bombs. Oh, looks like he's not. I will say, if he gets a power bomb here, it doesn't matter. If he proactively wanted to do this, I would have suggested farming more than one.
Yep.
Because if you want to do the bottom part, you're going to have to get another one anyway.
So like we're going to have to
it's
see.
not going to matter now.
But like we see on this bottom part, this is often a great power bomb farm at the bottom there, and we're going to go ahead and see ProfessorSchool check Edikuns, and we've gone ahead and we've seen where Screw Attack is, which is under the bridge for early supers.
Under the bridge.
Little Red Hot Chili Peppers, Varia early. Wow, this is definitely a change from the previous seeds.
Right.
So let's see how that plays out. You know, depending on what's up here, let's see.
Ooh.
So this is looking really good, but imagine this gamble. I don't know if this is what's going to happen, but Bress sees that he's already got 2 of the items. Is he going to go down to Edikuns, or is he going to make that gamble?
I still would.
Skip? I still would.
I would want to check the items, but I would also want to go ahead and just get back the not only the power bombs, but also the energy tanks. You know how I feel about energy tanks after the last race. But
I know how you feel about reserve tanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're fine. I'm not a reserve hater.
All right, and let's see where this transition goes to.
Hopefully, okay.
Yeah, you're not going to follow that. But that said, 5-3.
5-3 is big. You could follow it if you'd collected all the Z-Tanks, though. So he's got a decision to make once he collects a little bit more.
He's going to pick up Varia, and he's going to know immediately to go back up there.
Oh,
but,
that's right. Yeah, you're right.
But then the routing advantage comes to Prof from this, because Prof, having already picked up that Varia, doesn't have to go back down and up.
I already forgot that it was over there.
Yeah.
You know, Varia is kind of an important item.
You know.
Oh, no.
Let's take a moment of silence really quick for that. Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
There we go.
Also, I'm not convinced like that would have been completely detrimental, because what could have happened is he might would have gone back to get a few of the items that he left behind
and then
come back. It would have been a little slower, but yeah, he's going to be glad that he checked this out.
It's not fundamentally like what's going to make the difference, but it's definitely going to add up.
Yeah, he definitely baited us on that one.
Good content, Bress. You know how to please the viewers at home out here.
He's glad he didn't leave that one behind.
Although it does not look like it on his face. I gotta say, another great thing about doing this live, Kip, is not just seeing the face cam, but the whole expression of the players. Like I believe maybe it was Audra Zeb or it was Audra Bress, where the urgency of the running was so palatable in the air that it made the race just that much more exciting to see in person.
Yep.
And over here, we can both just feel that this is the last day of the race. Everyone is tired, but everyone is still essentially going on their reserve trying to make this happen.
That's right. So Bress, by nature of checking that portal before checking the items, has actually lost some time here.
Yep. So a little bit of an advantage to Prof right now. Is that going to make the race? You know, maybe not. We're still less than 10 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of things can happen.
Yeah, tons of possible options here.
Okay, and 2-2 for Red Bryn. That's a pretty stacked Red Bryn.
4 out of the 5, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing a lot of these seeds, Red Bryn 0 or Red Bryn 0-1. I don't think we've really seen majors in Red Bryn for this match.
And the E-Tanks, don't get me wrong, they're still valuable. I really believe that having, 4, 5, 6, relatively early, even if you find Screw Attack, even if you find Varia, you might have to do Reverse Lower Norfair later, so I still like E-Tanks. However, the value of those tanks is slightly diminished, considering that you already have Varia and Screw Attack and, Speed Booster. So I don't know how they'll try to manage that particular section of the run.
So I did miss. Where did that top of Red Tower elevator go to?
Not really sure.
I have one job. I'm sorry. Let's see where this is. Okay, we've got grapple. That's one of the majors. And then there's
Tank.
an E. Wreck ship right side, so Forgotten Highway. Not exactly what you want to be seeing at this moment, but, you know, good to know where at least one wreck ship portal is. That's a boss area you want to go through. That said, still don't have anything in logic to go ahead and take that out right now.
There's that wave beam. I assume Bress is going to hit up that power bomb on the way out. I definitely, at minimum, no matter the circumstances, even with bombs here, I wouldn't stop at power bombs until at minimum 15.
Yeah, you're going to want that for some Crystal Flash no matter what. All right, Prof going to go ahead and check this. And with Screw Attack, this is trivial. Let's go ahead and see what we got down here. A little power bomb
minor.
So that means we are going to see something at X-Ray, which we haven't seen any X-Ray throughout this seed. I mean, Space Jump doesn't make it as much of a dire check, but it is still a little slow. And knowing that 5 is in Upper Norfair, I don't think we're going to see Prof check that quite yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could make the argument that just go ahead and skip it and check Spazer, and then if you hit the major there, then cool.
But you also get the portal knowledge from those down there.
Correct.
But we're going to see Prof is going to go ahead and favor Bubble Mountain, or sorry, favor Business Center over Bubble Mountain. And then Bress skipping that Steel Reserve over there. All right, and we've got E instead. Wise choice.
Also, I love the speed check because no matter if it's suitless, no matter if it's not, whatever, getting a chance to go ahead and refill, fill up your reserve. I like to max out my supers just because you're going to need a bunch of supers as you go through the run. He's going to choose not to. I feel like the investment to be in a spot where you can get a bunch of your resources set for the next however long is pretty valuable.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's trying to save every second.
Yeah. I mean, we got to remember, this is a best of 3. Both players are very tired right now. Each have a game. Both have been playing extremely well. We might see a little bit more risk being taken here.
Ooh, yeah, speaking of risk.
Yeah.
Skipping that E-tank that's literally right in front of him. Ooh.
But getting boots, definitely very nice.
Well, we now have full movement, ladies and gentlemen. We got the high jump boots. We got the space jump. We got the speed booster. We are in
It's power
shape.
mode.
Okay, he went ahead and grabbed it.
Yeah.
This is a speedrunner's paradise right here. All the movement items. Well, maybe not
Unfortunately, in
me.
Rando, you're not spending most of your life in a speedrunner's paradise.
Right. I think I also just upset the spring ball fans out there because I said that you had all the important movement items, but
Not very inclusive of you, Kip.
Well, in fairness to me making the mistake, we are not yet to the point where spring ball is out of logic. It might be that some suitless shenanigans show up. So
You know, I think both runners probably not wanting to see suitless at this moment.
no,
But I'm ready to. I think the fans might be ready to as well.
I wouldn't turn it down.
All right, just a missile at Cathedral. Not the biggest payoff there. Has Bress checked Business Center yet?
No.
I think, yeah, he's going around and he's going to try to get the Croc Escape item as well, as opposed to just continuing through Business Center. Or
Right.
continuing through the Cathedral to... I'm also exhausted and I'm not even running.
Yeah.
So
Wade
mental
Beam
power
made that
going a
a lot
little
easier too. It's really
Yeah.
nice to have in that spot. This seed is going a lot faster than the previous seed. There was a lot of kind of herky-jerky stuff happening at the beginning of the last seed. This one has been nose to the grindstone. Speed booster.
Speed booster early. Prof. Yeah.
Ooh, nice strat, Bress. I like that. Reducing the lag by
Brett-
getting the iframes.
Bress has had a lot of really impressive strats throughout this race.
Yeah, I've
And
said that 5 times or so.
you have. It has not gone unnoticed.
Yeah. Bress busting out many very cool strats in this tournament. And he's kind of doing the same thing that Prof did earlier. That grapple is actually really helpful. I love finding grapple.
Grapple's got a lot of great uses that aren't intended strats, let's say, unless we're counting an intended strat being grapple as a farm beam. All right. Prof also skipping that E-Tank. He's going to go ahead and get his high jump boots over here. And I wonder now, do you think Bress is going to go down and explore the rest of Red Tower? Nope.
I guess not. Ooh, Prof skipped that E-Tank both times. That is literally probably the most in-the-way item in the game.
I mean,
so skipping it twice skipping it at all is not something that happens a ton in Randomizer. Now, obviously in the speedrun, people are used to, in any percent, that being an item that sometimes people skip, but you don't see it a lot in the rando. Usually you just run into it.
Oh, we were about to see some suitless shenanigans, but we decided against it. Are going to go back. And actually, speaking of difficult items to skip, I think the E-Tank that they picked up outside of high jump, when you have to morph ball through, we did see Prof pick that up, and I was wondering if he was going to continue picking up E-Tanks or if that was just the nature of that item. Didn't. We see Bress going down Red Tower. Let's see what this portal leads to. And we've got criteria. So we'll be able to go ahead and easily check what lower mushrooms goes to, and then we'll try to see. I think right now, what are you looking for? You're looking for some boss areas at this point. Or just the bottom of Red Bryn, and that's going to loop onto itself a little bit.
Having high jump boots in particular and grapple means that I would feel comfortable going to any zone and killing any boss other than going into East Meridia right now. Meaning, like, no matter what boss is here,
yep.
If I had the ammo, I could kill Ridley. Obviously, Bress doesn't have it, but you can kill Dragon and get out of the room. It's out of logic, but most players, especially at this level, know how to do that.
So, again, I'm not really an ammo calculator as a human being, but since Bress does have the power bombs, obviously has about half the supers that you would want, is that even possible to do an extremely long, lengthy Ridley kill, should that Ridley be there?
You could. The 30, I don't know if this, I'd have to do the math. So now we know that a major is an X-ray, but basically 30 regular missiles equals 5 supers for Ridley. So if everything connected, you would have 2/3 of his health gone, which leaves 6,000.
Yep.
Power bombs can hit twice for 200 each, so it can be 400 per. So yes, you could kill Ridley. It would just be a little, a little slow.
Yeah, and we'll see. When Prof gets there, Prof has more supers, 10 more supers, much closer to that Ridley ammo required. So that might be a check that he's not going to go ahead and he'll maybe just do it right there on the spot. All right, and then let's go see what this major is. If this is something like gravity, this is definitely going to be pretty important for Bress. Although Prof will still pick this. How do you feel about that?
It's not what you want to see.
Yeah,
there's no other way to put it.
Definitely not what you want to see.
It's not terrible, but
but given the length of the check and how many were there, you definitely want to see something else, at this stage. All right, double jump. Normally, kind of a cool item to see. When you have space jump, not that cool.
Yeah, it doesn't do as much for you. But it does at least tell you that that zone is completely finished, and you know that you haven't skipped over that important gravity suit.
Yeah, having...
Ooh. So, what I will say is, earlier I said that the Spazer's not really what you want to see, but... in fairness, now that you have the charge beam, Spazer plus wave is actually not terrible damage. And so that could help with a potential Ridley fight, all kinds of stuff.
Plumst in chat telling us to stop bullying Spazer and making that point immediately validated.
Right.
So, shout out Plumst.
Yeah, that's an interesting location for charge.
I don't think I've seen that before.
Considering that they took the portal at the beginning from Retro and didn't do the kind of the normal pathing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, X-ray with Spacer. Rec shipped 1. Let's go ahead and see. So for all the other items in Rec shipped with boss shifted, they will have to kill the boss, even if it's not Fantoon down there. That said, we can go ahead, we can grab this item, we can grab Spooky Missiles, and we can peek at the item that's above. Especially, it's a bit more trivial with Space Jump than doing the complicated wall jump technique.
I believe it was a missile. And so, yeah, Bress can kill any boss here. A Ridley fight is a little slow. If I was in Bress's situation, I would go ahead and reload this room a couple times and max out my supers. Actually, he only needs to do it once because...
but he's going.
Oh, he's just going to go in. If this is Ridley, and it is. The backtrack, it's not too bad, but the backtrack to get the additional supers would have definitely saved a little bit of time. But it's fine, as long as he's careful. One thing that people sometimes forget when they get into this situation is that, like, he's got plenty of energy, but you got to remember that you only have Various Suit, so it is not...
It's not.
Ridley's doing double damage, essentially, to what most people are used to in, like, the speed run. So he just, needs to take this nice and deliberate. And,
he does have Screw Attack, which will make things quite a bit safer.
Oh, yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
You just don't want to get in a situation where you're being a little too cavalier.
Nice RNG manipulation from Bress, going ahead and getting Ridley into that Pokken pattern. Taking a few hits, though, and taking a little bit of a swim.
Should be it.
But, yeah, as you can see, it's, like, not too much off, like, the nice mock ball from ProfessorSchool. ProfessorSchool also using missiles, thinking that this could potentially be Ridley and wanting to save those supers.
Okay, there we go.
And it's Kraid, Vanilla Kraid today. Or, no, not Vanilla Kraid. Kraid at Rec Ship. And Prof gets the quick kill, while Bress still pogoing and waving and spacing. And Gravity at Rec Ship behind Kraid. Wow. That's a play.
That is a play. And those supers are looming large because Bress will... Let me put it to you this way. Unless something weird happens, Prof will have a significantly faster Ridley fight.
Yeah.
All right, should be a few more shots and we should be good. I think Ridley's dead. Yeah, Ridley's dead. All right,
nice
nicely
pick
done.
up. Good job, Bress. And Prof, having gotten the one major in Rec Ship, which we already saw, just looking for a little bit of ammo here.
Yeah, that's the thing. While the supers are valuable, they're probably most valuable against Ridley.
Yep.
And especially given the fact that they have a grapple for Dragon. So the fact that Prof might not find that charge for a while and may continue to pick up ammo, it's not like a terrible investment, but it's going to eat up some time. So you kind of have a give and take.
We're going to see how these investments that they've made pay off and what the exploration is going to be for it. It's still, there's Prof picking up Gravity does not mean that this is a GG by any means.
Oh, no. In fact, Bress will probably get it relatively soon. I guess it depends on how Bress opts to play these sections. This is a fun match, like the opposite of last match or last race.
I mean, those were fun too.
Oh yeah, I like the diversity. It's almost like it's in the Dash acronym.
Nice, Bress. And let's see, where is Main Street going to take us today? Yeah, I mean, you've got Gravity, you've got Space Jump, Screw.
Only thing potentially dangerous about this is that you don't know the back.
You don't know the back, but going through the back pretty easy. You have enough tanks to go ahead and do reverse amphitheater.
You do.
So, I mean...
I'm just saying if it's Torian, it's a nightmare.
It's a gamble. I'm not saying that. But
it's not Torian, though. We already know Torian.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It could be Croc, though.
I take it all back. Well, if it's Croc, it's not really a big deal because you just lose 40 seconds or whatever going to check it.
Yeah, but it's like you don't want to try to make... You don't want it to be Croc. Let's put it that way.
Maybe. Actually, hear me out. I actually feel like in this situation, Croc wouldn't be bad because you know that your opponent's probably going to go over there too, and it's a very short check, and both players are forced to do this. Like, there's no way around it. So I actually don't think it's that bad of a result. It would have been much worse had Torian still been unknown.
Yeah. And we see Bress going direct ship, but having gone from the back. Prof running from the front, right?
Prof is upset at himself for dropping a power bomb to clear the top of there instead of just using space jump and screw. Not a big deal, though, at all. Right,
that's the super you want, though.
Man, this is an interesting spot. I kind of feel there's certain aspects about what is happening on Prof's side that I think have given him some advantages, but I feel like Bress is kind of cooking right now. As soon as he gets this gravity suit, he is in complete go mode, and he's already gotten, you know, the Kraid situation and Ridley's situation handled, so he can basically just look for East Meridia and Lower Norfair and be in excellent shape.
I think, yeah, we have not seen East Meridia yet. Imagine that this is the way to East Meridia.
Dude, what would be wild is if it's Lower Norfair into East Meridia into Croc.
Yeah, essentially making a very linear one-way path into East Meridia.
Hold on, is it actually guaranteed that it's going to be that way? I think it might be.
You know,
it is? It's the only things left. How about that?
Well, while we're talking about this, though, that's actually not that great for ProfessorSchool, who's going to need to go back, right?
Well, actually, I don't think it's necessarily good or bad for either player because, like as I was talking about earlier, if you get into this kind of situation, you know that you are literally forced to do it this way, and your opponent is too. So basically, there really isn't a way. If you go into it with both suits and a way to kill all bosses, there's no way for you to like have to backtrack without being able to do everything. So I actually feel like the real interesting thing is going to be, do they both know all the portals, and will they avoid checking? Well, actually, I take that back. If they come in the backside of East Meridia, then it's not going to matter because they're going to run by Aqueduct anyway, and it'll be a moot point. It really just depends on which portal we get here at Three Musketeers. So this is interesting.
All right, and we're going to see Fantoon from Prof. Should be pretty easy for him. This is very comfortable.
All right, Prof is taking down Fantoon. Unfortunately, got an eye closed there. Bress is moving and shaking on his way to find Lower Norfair right here. And here we go. Bress is probably aware that he's got to do this. Oh, apparently he doesn't know all the portals yet. Okay, there we go.
I think Bress catching himself there. Again, there has been a lot of seeds being played. I think also, this is not Bress's only tournament that he has been in.
No.
So the amount of, mental endurance that both of these players have been going through, immense.
You are 100% right, Kupo. We've got a great race here closing out SGLIVE, though.
I think, Prof got him right at the end there. Good one, Prof. Although Prof seeming not to agree with himself. All right.
Man, Bress busting out the anti-lag strats over here, or the lag reduction strats. That was nice.
And some fast fillers.
Yeah.
Ba-boom.
He's got power bombs equipped. Hopefully he'll remember he doesn't need it. He can use the GT Classic or even Hundo Strat here, where you just, there you go. Muscle Memory probably had him equip that. He can just keep him equipped, though, if he wants to for a few rooms from now. Yeah, Bress is over here gaming. Prof on his way to the back. And I'm really curious to see
what we got.
If you want a lot of variance, you're going to root for the Aqueduct side. If you want minimal variance, you are rooting for the back side because it means that both players will be forced to do it, but we'll be able to see the final portal at Aqueduct because they're going to pass directly by it.
Well, in about a minute here, we'll find out.
Yeah, here we go.
And in general, too, both previous seeds, while linear, we would not be considering Jet in any means. We're 2 bosses down, 30 minutes in, full go mode. This is definitely in Jet territory.
But listen, I gotta say this, you know, I don't think this is really a hot take. I think Jet seeds are good, and what I mean by that is you don't want Jet seeds all the time, but if you create your randomizer to where they never happen, well then there's no advantage from having that situation come up. So I like the fact that there are different types of seeds. Sometimes different runners have different advantages depending on the layout. So it's not just about constantly solving the puzzle. Sometimes it's about doing what you can with what you got as quickly as possible.
Yeah, well, I mean, the puzzle can be solved many different ways, right? And that's the sort of difference between the risk-reward of, like, what you're able to skip, what you're comfortable doing, what you can execute. Right. And luck plays a part of it, too, right? And that perfect mesh is what makes this one of the most interesting randomizer games to me.
It's not just the puzzle of completion, it's also the puzzle of speed. You know
yeah, I mean, execution plays a large part into this, and decision-making. And the puzzle can be solved a lot of different ways, in logic and out of logic.
I just remembered. I've been sitting here rattling off. I'm pretty confident Bress is in the lead here.
Just in a raging Fantoon.
Yeah. With that said, I still think Bress is in the lead. Bress has that charge beam, and basically will be skipping a lot of items, or at least I assume so.
Yeah.
ProfessorSchool never found charge.
Or 60-30, yeah.
And is still in need of some supers. So he wants to be running into supers as quickly as possible. What are we getting? We're getting Aqueduct. Y'all, we have the high variance situation.
All right. So if you want to see, well, Prof wants to see some supers here. Nice Doppler press.
Not what he wants to see. I would find it unlikely for Bress to even check that.
Where was Charge again?
He was at Terminator.
Yeah.
Botwin being very unkind here. There we go.
Best hitbox in the game.
Right. And Bress busting out. I just refer to this as the any % near out strat. I guess you could do it in any category, but nice quick strat using a D boost and some iframes there. And then into the speed ball. Bress did not pick up the spring ball, so using that.
Bress going to go ahead and take a quick save.
I don't know why he's making that save unless he does not know the entire map. If he doesn't know the entire map, it makes sense. If he does know it, it doesn't really make sense, but it's fine.
Prof not looking happy about that setup, but it happens. And okay, let's go ahead and see what's at here at Precious. Really hoping for a super. Nope, no Precious. Yep, nope, yeah.
There
okay.
We go. That's helpful.
Yeah, that's what we want to see for Prof. Bress going ahead, going to take a look at this back. Going to be skipping these ammo checks, I'd imagine. Yep. And let's see.
Oh man, this is
getting a little tense in here.
It is. It is indeed. All right, let's see how. Unfortunately, Bress does not have 10 supers, making the one round of Botwin a little more tricky. Definitely not impossible, but it is a little bit. I find it to be a little bit more lenient when you just get to unload the 10 supers.
Wow. Bress just missing that one round there.
In his case, I just start using charge shots because Botwin.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, Prof just missing very, very slightly that quick grapple Dragon kill. Going ahead and moving out. All right, let's see it. Come on, Prof, you got this. You good? Bress going full go mode on this. Prof missing that grapple again.
Having a little bit of a difficult time there. And there's a super. I'm a little surprised Bress didn't pick that one up just to have.
At 3, yeah.
Also because I don't remember what the threshold is, but if he had trouble with the speed booster skip, not suggesting he will, but if he did, it'd be nice to be able to, you know, kill the Zebs or whatever.
There we go, intended strats.
And because of that various suit and also the damage that Professor School had, gonna not have to use the reserves there.
Yeah.
But we are finally in the same room, Koopa.
We're finally in the same room.
I think
Not just with these racers, but you and me.
That's
after
right.
working on Dash for quite a while.
That's right.
So, I do think if you are Prof, you are not feeling great at this moment after some of the execution from that. Which,
Yeah.
again, no fault of Prof.
No. But, you know, everybody wants to play at their best, and sometimes when you don't, you know, hit some of the tricks and stuff, you know, you start to press a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, Bress
and
got a
there,
comfortable quick kill.
Bress executing that early grapple kill that Prof was going for.
So I think very clearly here, Bress has a lead.
I agree.
You know, having that charge beam, not needing to pick anything up. They're basically in the same location, and he has killed all the bosses. So even if he goes and checks, and I can tell just from the fact that Professor School is doing the save that he's going to go back and check. Let's find out if Bress does the same.
I don't think so. I think Bress is just, he's going.
Okay. I'm a little intrigued. If Bress does know the last portal, I'm intrigued by that save in Lower Norfair. Maybe he just forgot for a moment. No, he's going to go check it. So, quick heads up for everybody out there. I'm pretty sure I timed this. It would be faster, given this exact situation, it would be faster to take the save and reset, but it's not by a ton. So when Bress finds Croc here, he's just going to walk back. It's not going to be a huge deal, though. Prof will only save a small amount of time. And obviously some of it depends on your, you know, how you play as well. That was actually a really tight jump Bress just had. He got as much momentum as he possibly could before space jumping across, but that was a little tight window to get that jump.
Yeah, Bress's movement across this whole tournament has been extremely tight.
Yeah, Bress is a strong player.
That's why he's in the bronze match.
Hey, man. Yeah.
All right.
He upset the number 2 seed in the round of 8. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously.
Yeah, that other guy should have practiced more.
So, everybody's favorite Super Metroid puppy, we got Croc, and we are going to see a turnaround, and we're going to see a reset on Professor School's side. Or at least I assume. All right, there it is. And all things being equal, Prof should, although his reset's taking a little bit longer than anticipated. I'm not sure what's happening here.
This is not what you want to see.
No, I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, I think it's just the capture card. Okay, so it should be a little bit faster on Prof's side to get back, but not by much.
Prof still has that boss, unfortunately. Yeah, this is not good for Prof right now.
No. The only issue, and I do not anticipate this actually being an issue, but sometimes the speed Zeb skip can be a little tricky. And that's really the only thing left that's kind of like a hardcore requirement for Bress. He's got plenty of power bombs, even though he doesn't have Ice Beam. Wave, Spazer, Charge is not, I mean, the fight's going to be a little over a minute if you use all charge shots, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad considering that he saved time not picking up certain minor items.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's in a pretty commanding situation, assuming he executes.
You know, Zeb, second place, bringing up really good point in chat. That, yeah, Bress being able to stop at 30-15 versus Prof going for 75-35. big difference. That
Big time.
early charge making a huge difference in this.
Definitely. And we kind of memed on the Spazer earlier, but getting that actually, I think, in the long run is going to pay off. There was some value
so
there.
Good.
Not a ton. It's not like major difference, but I do think there was some value in picking it up,
I still
particularly
think-
because you didn't know what was there.
Yeah.
And so, as we saw, ProfessorSchool did make it back a little bit faster. You also have to factor in, though, that he did spend some time on the front end going into the room and saving. So, again, it wasn't some huge major issue. But, yeah, now both players on their way out. The only major difference, really, at this
We're
point
going to
is
see a
the boss.
reverse acid dive. ProfessorSchool's health ticking down a little bit, but he's got this.
Yeah, what a boss. And then that screw attack.
Yeah.
I would go the bottom way with screw attack in space.
I think Prof has already seen the Mickey Mouse item. Maybe that was last seed. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have space jump screw attack, you typically, and you don't need the Mickey Mouse item, you typically want to go through the bottom. That's just a little bit faster. As we'll see from Bress here, yeah, you're just annihilating your way through that. And they will be caught up here soon. A little short charge from Prof, nice.
Very nicely done. Did Bress go to the bottom? He did. Okay,
Yeah,
so a
he
little bit
did.
faster
And
there.
then, yep, we're in there, transition at the same time.
Man.
Yeah, what a race.
Yeah, what a race indeed. Prof going for a short charge there so he could get that top item first, but just barely pressed down a little too quickly. Not really a big deal. Unfortunately found an, oh wow.
Gosh.
Literally the worst possible situation there.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, for 42 minutes and 75-35 is not what you want to be seeing, and not being able to spike any of these supers.
Especially with this particular layout of the map and whatnot. I mean, it's been a fast seed overall.
Yeah, this is some feels bad, man, though. This is, you know, normally these sort of gambles would be paying off with picking up, like, other ammo. Not something I'm saying you can necessarily count on, but
Right.
usually it's a safe bet.
I agree. Not a very kind seed for supers so far.
No, this has been, this is not 2-1-1, though. This is still the standard
Yeah.
3-2-1 for minor item distribution.
To talk about the dash randomizer for just a moment, one of the things that I initially had put in, this was years ago, was we started with a starter charge beam that did 30% damage. Now, that's not activated in the settings for this tournament, but you can activate that if you roll a seed. But what we did to counterbalance that was we lowered the number of supers. I realize this might be a somewhat unpopular take, but I feel like increasing the number of supers past what is in the vanilla game really diminishes the skill required to get through a lot of the sections. So we have the 2-1-1 option, but for this tournament, we're doing like the more standard 3-2-1. I think they're both good. They play in a different way, but you could technically turn on the starter charge with this ratio as well, but I think it works better with the 2-1-1. But then, you know, people get to Ridley, they don't have 30 supers, then they got a charge shot Ridley, and then they complain about it. So, you know, it depends on what kind of experience you're
At
looking for.
43-30, we have Bress entering Turian. This is going to be a very fast seed. Prof still looking for supers and has one boss left to go.
There you go.
So, yeah, overall, I mean, this is not quite as close as some of the other races that we had seen, but this has still been a really interesting race to watch develop.
100%.
Yeah, really glad we got to do a Game 3 on this after a couple of really exciting close matches. So, laying that power bomb early.
I saw Bress practicing his power bomb strats earlier, and yeah, it looks like he's got it down. And double hit. There we go. Nicely done. I keep saying this. I've not seen that strat exactly like that. I got to learn that one too. Bress is teaching me all kinds of cool stuff in this tournament. I'd not done the second room that way.
Good puns from chat. This seeds item placement has been super unkind.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this has not been what you want to see. If you're hunting for supers, trying to go chargeless. I have a feeling once Prof learns to where charge was, he's not going to feel great.
Probably not.
You know, again, that said, even though we're the commentators, we're seeing what both players have been able to see and make decisions, not in real time, but sort of like retrospectively as they're going along. It's really hard to be making these decisions on the fly and going through it. It's definitely a very intense skill, and, you know, sometimes you got to make gambles.
Yep.
Betting on Charge at Terminator is not usually a gamble you make.
Oh, we got some baby skip potential. Bress is out here gaming. Oh, that last jump was a little dicey. He got it though. He got it. Nicely done. And now Bress is one speed Zeb skip away from locking this up, unless something just absolutely catastrophic happened during the Mother Brain fight, but I would say that is very unlikely. Let's see how it goes.
So what are you thinking total final time here for Bress? Are we talking like low 50s?
Let's see how long it takes him, but man, he's got the right setup here. Let's see if he can get it. Dude, what a gamer. I'm gonna call this Mother Brain fight to be. Let's time it from the time that she starts to stand up to the time that she rainbows or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it to be around a minute 20.
Okay.
Maybe. I feel like it's gonna be between a minute and a minute 30. Let's see how accurate I am here. So 46:40, 46:41. All right.
Going ahead and unloading some of that ammo early for a quick DPS, and then we're going to go ahead and see that Spacer Wave Beam taking down 210 damage each charge shot. Again, another missile for Prof, but still not the super he is wanting. This distribution is just not working in Prof's favor today.
Yeah, unfortunate. But I really believe Prof has played well.
I mean, I think Prof has played incredible in this whole tournament.
Yeah, 100%. Very impressed with his growth, too.
Yeah, but, you know, sometimes, even though items statistically should be in certain places, that doesn't mean they're going to get and end up being put there. So that's the gamble of Rando.
So I think my prediction is going to be slightly off. We are about 1 minute into this fight and still no catch-up yet. We've had a few missed shots by Bress, but that's normal. I mean, you can't get them all.
And Bress is like several minutes ahead at this point. Now at 85.50, yeah, there's catch-up. At 85.50, would you consider like go mode ammo, or Prof is still looking for a bit?
You could do it that way. I like to have a little leeway, so I'm not sure. I'd have to sit here and do the math.
At 48 minutes, though, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Prof is going
No,
for
he's
it.
fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's got plenty. He's got even a little leeway. All right, so that's the end of the fight. It was basically 46-41 to 48-21-ish for the end of the fight, so it was about a minute 40, maybe a little bit more. So it was not too far off from the prediction, a little over a minute and a half.
Yeah, and you know, for as unkind as some of this minor item distribution was to Prof attempting to go chargeless for this, I think we have to keep in mind that it's like both players being in Turian at the same time, still a great race.
Oh, big time, yeah. So Bress is chilling, and he's got a comfy escape. High jump boots plus speed booster equals what most people are used to in most of the speed runs. So he'll do some comfy strats on the way out. It's also very quick. He'll probably have an escape that's around, I don't know, maybe like 115, maybe a little less.
Yep.
And
so we're going to get like a low 50 from Bress, likely.
We are, yes. This is going to be probably like a low 52 would be my assumption. right, ladies and gentlemen, Bress's final Mother Brain 3 of this particular tournament. Let me go ahead and start moving all my stuff out of the way since our players will be joining us soon for the interview process. All right.
All right, cutscene, or sorry, baby skip attempt here from Prof. Let's go.
Oh, just
not
barely.
quite.
Just barely. I think Bress might end up being slightly under what I predicted. I think we might end up with a 51 here.
Let's see. This is going to be a wrap to the end of an incredible tournament. That said, both players definitely, I think, ready to be in the viewer's seat and just get some relaxed time in here.
That's right. But I really want to thank both of these runners for participating and coming out. They put on a wonderful performance for us, not only in this match today, but all the other matches. And we've had some great discussions with them as well about some ideas for Dash and all kinds of other stuff. So it's been a real positive experience for us here.
Yeah, this has been absolutely incredible. And we're closing up. We're just a few rooms away from this being over. Let's see. Boom. There's that Shine Spark up.
And Bress is 2 rooms away.
While Prof is setting up that Moonfall. Boom. And we're going to see that Speed Zeb skip from him. Nailed it. Unfortunately, not going to be quite enough. Let's just go ahead and make it through some steam.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 3rd place winner for this tournament is going to be Bressingham. GG. Well played. That was an excellent performance. Great match. Went the distance. A little camaraderie here. And we'll get the gentleman down here for an interview before we say goodbye
I
to
know.
SGLIVE for 2023.
Let's go ahead and get Bress in the hot seat.
Bress, if you don't mind, will you go ahead and grab a microphone there? And will you test it for us?
Testing 1, 2.
Okay, you're coming through the speakers. Hopefully you're coming through on the stream.
Let's go ahead, chat. Can we go ahead and hear Bress?
Test. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Loud.
Good. You can hear me.
That's right, let that sear in.
And then we got Prof over here. He's going to be joining us shortly. He's doing a little decompression from the race. At the end of a 3-game series, you're feeling a lot. This is when I always go let the dog out and get a big hug, you know. Decompress from the stress. Well, go ahead and test your mic, please, Prof. I want to make sure that you can be heard. Here, why don't we scoot up? Why don't we all just scoot up, and then that way we don't have to. Yeah, we can scoot up a little bit here. Make it a little bit easier on everybody.
Me getting sabotaged here. All right.
All right, so Prof, will you say something into the mic, make sure we can hear you?
Test 1, 2.
Okay, hopefully everybody's coming through. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get some feedback from them about the race, and if you can, maybe scoot over a little bit, Prof, I want to make sure that you're in the camera. What we would like to do is this. We would like to award our 3rd place trophy to Bress, but before we do that, I do want to mention that 4th place did finish in the money, so as a token, I'm going to hand you this $1 bill, and there are 110 more of these coming your way, Prof. So congratulations on 4th place. Making it into the bronze match is a great accomplishment, especially since last year was your first time doing randomizer at all. 1 year later, here you are, making it deep into the tournament.
Kids, listen, if you really set your mind to something, if there's something you really want to accomplish in your life, if you want to be a professional speedrunner, you can do it.
That's right.
And here's the proof.
Excellent. And I would like to now thank you to the folks from Speedgaming Live. They put together some 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place trophy. So it is my honor to present the 3rd place trophy to our winner of today's bronze match, Bressingham.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Bressingham.
Thank you.
So, Bress, we will start with you as the winner. Tell us just a little bit about, any of the races, but the match overall, and also just your experience here at SGLIVE.
Well, I've had a really great time at SGL. I'm really glad that I decided to come out to this This has been really fun. I'm going to come every year that this is active. So I had a great time. Recommend it for sure. This series was really fun. It seemed like all the races were very close. I had a lot of fun. I don't know if I made the best choices, but everything I did felt okay, except for deaths.
We were really impressed with your performance in all 3 races. Not only a lot of great micro, but also some great decision making. I think in particular that last one, when you ran into charge and the way you adjusted your play after that was really, really good, very efficient. So really big congratulations. Prof, let's jump to you real quick. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the 3 seeds that you played.
How do I sum up the 3 seeds? Ironically, I thought the third one was the one that I played the best. But I don't know. I have an incredible amount to learn, and at every step, I'm realizing that I'm making mistakes that are costing me a lot of time. I don't think Game 3 was necessary. I feel rough about Game 1. It's difficult to know that I absolutely didn't need to go to Gauntlet. I was skipping Gauntlet, and I talked myself back into it, and it was probably about a minute and a half between the hesitation and the cycle. Knowing that was the situation and that it wasn't necessary sucks, and I've had a couple of those, so hopefully that sort of stuff just makes you better for future competition. But at the same time, that only happens to work in Bress's favor if he's playing really, really well, and he did. And frankly speaking, he could say the same thing about Game 2. If he didn't take those deaths, he probably would have crushed me. So he pulled it out. He had a very good Game 3. I'm assuming you ran into charge?
Yes.
Where was it?
I finished charge wave spazer.
It was at Terminator.
Sorry. A lot of people saying stuff at the same time. Where was it?
Terminator.
You guys found Green Bren at the portal at the very beginning, and so he's the only one that went up to the Terminator later on after he found the left side of criteria portals.
You were not back.
Yeah. By the way, I don't necessarily think skipping that or not seeing it is a mistake.
No, actually, now that I think about it, how I routed and when I found it only would have saved like a handful of. Was that before or after West Meridia? When I was
That's a good question. We watched 3 races too, so it's a little much for us too.
It's fine. I didn't spend 3. I was just getting into Mother Brain. I didn't spend 4 minutes ammo hunting between West Meridia and Kraid's Lair.
The big difference, though, was that the ammo that you did find was so super unfriendly.
It was, yeah.
That if that had have worked out in any other capacity, or that would have worked out, that would have made a big difference.
Yeah, but even if I pick up charge there and I don't go on any sort of ammo hunt whatsoever, I didn't spend. I had a minute left in the Mother Brain fight, and then you have 3 minutes to wait at the end. I didn't spend 4 minutes between Kraid's Lair and West Meridia. I may have spent 2 or 3, but I didn't spend 4. When did you find Croc at the back of East Meridia?
So
at the same time.
The same time. Y'all were literally synced up there. The only difference was he had already killed the boss at Wreck Ship. So y'all were basically exiting that big long chain at the same time.
Yeah, so if I'd found charge, it wouldn't have mattered. It was something about my routing that was inefficient. I thought I played really, really well though, and I committed to ammo when I committed to ammo.
Yeah. Did you check Moat's portal? Because I skipped that entirely.
Okay, well that's the difference. Yeah, as soon as I found them, I checked them, and then I went back across.
Yeah. So then you also knew that Croc was at the end of that.
I did not.
You didn't know? Okay.
No.
If I had checked
my portal knowledge, and maybe this was a just humongous mistake, and Kip or Zeb or someone would tell me, but there was so many outstanding portals. There was 2 in Criteria on the left side. There was 4 in Red Tower. There was 1 in Upper Norfair, and maybe 1 in West Meridia, and then there was Turin and Croc. When I entered Lower Norfair from the front, when I saw it immediately. Now, I probably should have saved before going out the back, but I sort of took a gamble and thought, there's so many portals, it's likely that I'm okay here, and I probably want to collect this ammo anyway and not reset it. But then when I got through and it spit me out into East Meridia, then I knew I had to save because even though it was still unlikely that I'd run into something bad, it could be Turin, which would be really bad if you routed differently and then you were able to just finish on East Meridia. That would have been awful.
Yeah, which I did have Ridley dead already at that point.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Maybe it's just awful routing, and I should have gotten more portal. I usually get more portal knowledge early, but when I saw Lower Norfair, it just didn't really occur to me, and I thought, go do a thing that you can do. Go get a boss, right? And then it just sort of occurred to me that I could have this pipe that connects all the way to the back of one of them, and it's pretty unlikely, but I don't know. I think just having somehow you routing in with more portal knowledge and rec ship earlier is the difference. I don't think charge was the difference there, but it's nicely done. It's nicely done.
Overall, Prof, I really truly believe you played very well, not only in this match, but like in all your matches. And again, for you to be this early in your overall progression in terms of playing, like only playing Randomizer for 1 year and pumping out a product like this, I think is very noteworthy. So,
thank you.
Don't beat yourself up too much. You still got plenty of time to practice. But Bress, back to you kind of for a closing comment. Just you played not only well today, but I really was impressed in all of your matches. Like even in the semis, when you lost to the eventual, I think you played a Draxus, is that right?
Yes.
Yes, you lost to the eventual champion, but I thought you played really excellently there, and you have gotten very, very good in a lot of tournaments. So just tell us a little bit about your progression the last year or so with Rando.
I think that I practiced a lot for the what was it, league,
Right.
and I also practiced a lot for the major minor tournament. Yeah, I wasn't really big on the SMR before the past year or so, but I played it for years. So I'm really happy. I learned a lot of stuff in the past year, like high jump with lava dive. That's actually pretty new for me. It doesn't really happen in the area, but
Yeah.
I learned a lot of stuff. High jump with grapple escape. That's kind of new too.
Yeah.
There's been several times throughout this tournament, though, that Kip has been watching you commentating and saying, I'm going to steal that strat from Bress.
It's literally like
Several
6 or
times.
7 times. Like I'm not even kidding. Yeah.
Well, I've stolen a lot of strats from you already,
Well-
Kip, so that means a lot.
We like to share, right?
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap this up, runners, again, I want to thank y'all for your time commitment, for coming here and putting on a show for everybody. And is there any final words you would like to say before we wrap this whole thing up?
GG, Prof. You really pushed me hard in this set. You're doing amazing, so you should feel very proud. Congrats on 4th place. Great race.
Thanks, Gigi. I appreciate it, and I'm grateful to all the organizers and everyone putting this on. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Prof. Cooper,
Thank you, guys.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, just GG's to all Speed Gaming staff for making this happen. Thank you so much to all the runners for coming and anyone who's helped along the way. And I think that's going to wrap up our Speed Gaming Live 2023 Super Metroid Randomizer Tournament.
That's it. I said the big, long thank yous last night after the finals. I'll say it one more thing real quick. Really big, obviously, thank you to the SG staff. They've been awesome. I want to personally thank each of the dev members of the Dash team that have done so much work to put this on. And I really want to thank all the Super Metroid Randomizer or just Super Metroid people that are here. We're pointing at Mass there. All the people from our community that came and made it a good time. So, guys, we've literally got like 30 more seconds. Would everybody come up here so we can have our final wave goodbye?
Physical raid.
And see you next mission. So, guys, I'm going to count it down. I think we all know what we're going to say, and no, it's not Deer Force. All right, ready?
Roll Tide?
It is Roll Tide, yes. So, 3, 2, 1. We will see you next mission. Goodbye, everybody.